Hi, I'm Bella from Colorado, USA. Please like and subscribe. My mom came from a line of amazing horse riders, and our ranch was filled with trophies collected over generations. It was her dream that my sister Nora and I follow in her footsteps. We both learned to ride horses as soon as we could walk. But Nora was 2 years older and got a head start in life. And well, I could never seem to catch up. She always had straight A's in school. She was naturally athletic. And with her auburn hair and blue eyes, she was beautiful. Even though Mom loved us both, it wasn't hard to guess who her favorite child was. When I was in the 3rd grade, Mom threw a big birthday party for me and invited all our relatives. But everyone's focus the whole time was on freaking Nora. Such a pretty girl. You already look like a celebrity, darling. I'd been so excited about my new dress, but now I was just feeling angrier by the second. It's like I was invisible with Nora in the same room. Suddenly, I let out an ear-splitting scream and fell to the ground. Oh my God, I'm in so much pain. My tummy hurts so bad. Everyone came running to me and Mom rushed me to the hospital. I was happy I'd ruined the party for everyone, and they would have all just left. But hours later, we got back home to find a mess. I'm so sad you missed your party, Bella, but I made sure the guests had a good time, and I thanked everyone for your presents. I'm glad you're feeling better now. All I could feel was an urge to slap Nora. She just had my birthday without me. As we grew older, I slipped more into the background. I loved horses and could ride well, but it was obvious who the star in the family was. By the time she was 13, Nora had started participating in competitions and was super popular in school. And I'd grown into an awkward kid who was into sci-fi novels and mostly preferred to eat lunch alone in the gym. Once when I was in 7th grade, I was reading under a tree on our ranch when I heard a noise above me. Suddenly, a boy fell down, and I managed to miss him by an inch. Gosh, you nearly killed me. Who are you and where'd you come from? Fell down straight from heaven. I'm gonna punch you in your face if you don't tell me. Okay. I'm Jeremy and I just moved in next door. I did something to my stepfather and he's really mad, so I'm hiding from him. What did you do? I may have given some important papers to our dog and he may have ripped them up. But trust me, my stepdad deserves it. He's not a nice guy. Come on, I'll show you a better hiding place. You can hide anytime you want. I helped him up to his feet, but he yelled out in pain. It seemed like he twisted his ankle. Just then, Nora came galloping on her horse, and Jeremy looked awestruck. Whoa, who is that goddess? Ow! You're trying to break my other ankle too? Oops, sorry, it was an accident. Nora stopped by to ask who he was, and I explained. You obviously can't walk. Hop on, I'll give you a ride. The two of them rode away, and he looked like a princess who had been rescued by a knight. Why did Nora have to be such a freaking hero? And Jeremy and Nora became best friends after that day. He was also in her class at school, and soon the two were inseparable, which meant that he was always at our place. And over time, I couldn't help having a crush on him. He was smart and funny, and we had so much in common. And he loved science fiction too, and we could talk about it for hours, if Nora would let us. One day, Nora showed me an expensive bracelet. Isn't it beautiful? Jeremy gave it to me yesterday. You mean on Valentine's Day? Yeah, but just as a friend, of course. Nora, are you dumb? It's so obvious Jeremy's in love with you. What? No, he's not. You wouldn't know because you don't have any guy friends. Or any friends, actually. And you are so self-absorbed. You're completely blind to everyone's feelings. You're giving him the wrong idea by accepting that present. You don't know what you're talking about, geek, so stay out of it. I knew I was right, but there wasn't much I could do. Soon after in 8th grade, I was so excited when I found out about a huge sci-fi convention happening in town. But as I was telling Jeremy about it, Nora spoke up and said they'd already bought the tickets. Oh, that's amazing. I can't wait. I meant I just got the tickets for me and Jeremy. We're going with our friends. So I can buy my own and come with you guys, right? I can't go alone, it's too far. No, you can't come with us. Why don't you have friends of your own, Bella? Come on, Nora, what's the big deal? I'm not gonna be the only loser with my baby sister tagging along, Jeremy. We're not taking her. You don't even like sci-fi. Why are you being a witch? Jeremy, please take me along?" I'm sorry, Bella. Maybe next time?" I couldn't believe he was being such a coward, and my heart burned when I saw them leaving for the convention a few days later. I just wanted to hurt Nora, and I had a brilliant idea for something I could do. A week later, I was having breakfast when I heard Nora scream. She came running downstairs and waved a calendar at Mom. "How could you mess up my schedule, Mom? I had a match this morning and I missed it." "What are you talking about?" "I woke up to see 20 missed calls from my coach, and he just told me that the first match of the tournament was today. But you've written it here that it's next week." "That's because I got a call from the organizers saying it was postponed. I don't understand. How could this have happened?" "Bella, did you have something to do with this?" "I don't know what you're talking about." "Why don't I believe you?" "Oh, wait. Yes, I remember something now. Maybe I did pretend to be one of the organizers and called up Mom to tell her the wrong date. It doesn't feel good to miss out on something important, does it?" The two stared at me in shock, and then Nora pounced on me. "You horrible brat! How could you do this? You made me miss the convention. Who cares about that stupid thing? I'm disqualified for the whole season now." "I cared. You shouldn't have been so awful to me." "I hate you, Bella. I won't forgive you. Ever." Mom managed to pull Nora away, and she stormed off crying, and I was grounded for a month. For the next few days, Nora acted like I didn't exist. I hadn't realized she'd be disqualified for the entire season. Maybe I'd gone too far. I decided to apologize, but I found out that she'd left for a training camp for 2 weeks. But just 3 days later, we got some bad news. Nora had been in a riding accident. Mom immediately rushed off to camp, and when she returned with Nora, I was shocked to see her on a wheelchair. "What happened?" "I don't want to talk to anyone, least of all you." Nora had badly injured her leg, and the doctor said that her recovery would take months. Mom was devastated, and Nora kept herself shut in her room. I didn't dare go in because I knew she wouldn't see me. One evening, I just couldn't help crying in my room when suddenly I felt someone's arm around me.
"Hey, why are you crying?"
"Because Nora hates me and she'll never forgive me. I wanted to hurt her, but I never wished for something bad to happen."
"Of course you didn't. No one thinks that. Nora's just upset about her injury, and once she's better, she'll be fine with you, I promise."
But he was wrong. Just a few days later, Mom called me into Nora's room for a talk.
"Nora's recovery could take up to a year. We cannot miss all the tournaments during this time. She has some modeling contracts too, and we can't lose this money. Someone from our family has to represent us, and that can only be you, Bella."
"But Mom, I'm not half as good as Nora." "She's right about that."
"You've been riding a horse since you were a child, Bella. We have 3 months to train before the next match, and I believe you can do it. You have to do it."
Before I could protest more, Mom left the room. "Good luck trying to be me. It's not as easy as it looks, and you don't have what it takes." Nora wasn't wrong about it being hard. The training was tough, and I had a sore butt for weeks. But 3 months later, when I competed in the tournament, I actually came in third. And suddenly, I was the newcomer everyone was noticing. Sure, people just called me Nora's sister at first, but as I kept doing well in matches, more of them knew my name. But I really wasn't looking forward to Nora's modeling contracts. I was awkward, and I didn't have star quality like Nora. After her styling team worked on me, though, I was stunned at the results. I'd never felt so beautiful, and clearly others thought so too. I was receiving a lot of attention on social media, and at school, I was being treated like a completely different person. This is how people saw Nora, and I had to admit, it felt good.
"Wow, I'm gonna need an appointment soon to talk to you."
"Yeah, but I'll always make time for you. What do you think of my new look?"
"There wasn't anything wrong with it before, but you do look lovely."
For the first time, I felt like he wasn't seeing me as Nora's little sister, and it sent my heart racing.
"Bella, I've been meaning to ask you something."
Yeah?"
"Do you think it's a good time to tell Nora I'm in love with her? I have been for years, but she's never been clear about her feelings, and I just need to know now."
My heart suddenly sank. What was I thinking? Of course, you should tell her how you feel. She'd be a moron for not loving you back. Jeremy grinned and kissed me on the cheek and then walked off happily. A few days later, I came home to see Jeremy rushing out of our house, wiping tears on his sleeve.
I was a fool to think Nora ever liked me. She said she's never seen me as more than a friend, and she never will. He stormed off, and I felt so mad at Nora for leading him on all this time. I didn't see her till later at dinner, and it looked like she'd been crying, but Mom looked really excited. Bella, I have such amazing news. You've been selected as one of the best newcomers to participate in a tournament in London. This will open international doors for you, darling. I knew it had always been Nora's dream to compete in Europe. As Mom went on and on, Nora suddenly swiped half the dishes off the table. It should have been me, but you've stolen everything from me. Nora, I only started competing because of you and Mom. Oh, shut up. You've always wanted everything I've had. Congratulations. Now you have it. That's not true. Oh, you wanted Jeremy too? I've seen how you look at him with your puppy eyes. It's embarrassing. Well, it looks like he and I aren't friends anymore, so you're welcome to have him too. That's enough. You know what, Nora? Maybe I did want to know what it felt like to be you, but I've realized that I'm just as talented and beautiful. You're just better at getting whatever you want without caring for anyone's feelings. You've misled Jeremy, and you've always made me feel small. And now I will go to London, and I won't feel bad about it because it has nothing to do with you, only me and my talent. Jeremy didn't turn up to school the next few days, and then I found out that he'd left the city to stay with his real dad. For good. He hadn't even bothered to say goodbye. And a week later, I left for London. I won first prize in the tournament, and it opened so many opportunities for me. Mom decided that I'd finish high school in London while I kept competing for more championships. I heard Nora was back to training, but she and I didn't talk anymore, and I was enjoying my new life away from her. A year later, I was at the subway station when I spotted someone from a distance who looked exactly like Jeremy. I pushed through the crowd and followed him as he climbed onto the train, and I managed to hop on just as the doors closed. He looked shocked to see me, and we both hugged and laughed. It turned out that he'd joined a university in London.
I had no idea you were here too.
Of course you didn't. You left without a word and never kept in touch.
That was wrong, but I just needed to get away. I'm sorry, and I've missed you.
Jeremy and I started hanging out really often over the next few months, and I was happy to have him back in my life, but I kept my feelings in check. I didn't want to fall for him again. On New Year's Eve, Jeremy invited me to a party at his friend's place, and we had the most amazing night dancing away. We all counted down to midnight, and he turned to me with a smile.
Happy New Year, Bella.
And then he kissed me, and the whole world just faded. But then I pulled away suddenly. I started to walk away.
Bella, wait. Did I do something wrong?
No, nothing. I just have to go.
Please, stop. I've been wanting to tell you for a while now. I think I'm in love with you.
Nora turned you down, so you thought you'd settle for me now? As a consolation prize? I've always been second best to Nora in everything, but not anymore. I refused to answer Jeremy's calls or texts the next few days, but then one evening, I got the most unexpected call from Nora. She said she was throwing Mom a big party for her birthday that weekend, and she wanted me to attend. Plus, you haven't even seen my new training school yet.
What school?
I gave up racing, Bella. My leg's not good enough anymore, but I decided I couldn't stay angry forever, and I had to find another dream. I train other riders on our ranch now. Anyway, I hope you come. I felt both sad and happy to hear that, and I decided it was time to go home and see her. 2 days later, as I was leaving with my bags, I bumped into Jeremy right outside my place.
Before you say anything, please listen to me. Yes, I loved Nora for years, but being away from her made me realize that we weren't right for each other. We're better off as friends. And you're not second best to anyone, Bella. If you don't love me, I can accept that. But I just had to tell you how I feel. I love you.
Jeremy, I love you too, you idiot. As he pulled me close, he suddenly noticed my luggage.
Wait, where are you going?
To see Nora. I need to fix things with her.
I'm coming with you.
I was born in a super rich family who owned a chain of restaurants. We pretty much had everything you could imagine, except peace. My dad was a bad-tempered man who threw tantrums over the smallest things. Mom was soft-hearted and hardly ever spoke back. But my biggest problem was my bratty sister, Ariel, who was 2 years younger than me and 10 times worse than my dad. Once when I was 8, my parents took us to a wedding, and I was playing with my cousins when I spotted Ariel being mean to a little boy whose family was poor. She snatched his lollipop, and he started crying.
You can't eat that because you're ugly.
Ariel, give it back now!
No!
Just then, the boy's mom came and started shouting at Ariel, who went screaming to Dad and complained to him. And of course, he defended her. How dare you yell at my daughter? She's saying the lollipop is hers, and she would never steal from anyone. But Dad, I was right here. I saw her. Ian, this is your sister, and you should be on her side, not this poor boy's. Dad and Ariel were like two peas in a pod, and it was no wonder that he loved her more than me, and she always found a way to get me into trouble. Like in the 5th grade, when Ariel joined my school, my parents asked me to look out for her on her first day, and I did exactly that. But as we were waiting for our car to pick us up, I suddenly turned around and saw she was gone. I looked for her everywhere in the school, but I couldn't find her. Feeling panicked, I had a school teacher call my parents, and soon after they arrived, Ariel came running from somewhere and flew into my dad's arms.
Mommy, Daddy! Ian locked me in the storeroom. I was so scared.
I was stunned at how wicked she was. What? No, I didn't. Stop lying, Ariel! She cried even louder, and Dad started yelling at me, but thankfully, Mom took my side.
Calm down, Steve. Maybe he's telling the truth.
Ariel is only 7 years old. I don't think she knows how to lie yet. It's him. I was grounded for a whole month because of the stunt my sister pulled. She grew up to be the same wicked witch, and I became quiet and withdrawn from my family. I focused on doing well at school, and since I loved computers, I spent a lot of time teaching myself about them. I always thought I was a nerd, so I was surprised when I started getting attention from girls in the 10th grade. Even Ariel's friends were always staring at me and giggling, which was kinda creepy. One evening when I was studying for a big test, Ariel had some friends over, and they were playing music so loudly that I could hardly focus. I decided to go for a run, but just as I was changing my shirt, a girl flung open the door and stood staring at me.
Oops, I thought this was the bathroom.
You've been to our house before, and wouldn't you still knock?
You're so funny.
She giggled for no reason, and then Ariel came up behind her, grinning.
Where are you off to?
Running away, because you girls are so noisy.
We'll be quiet, only if you agree to date my friend here.
What? I'm not doing that. I'm sure she's just like you. I ran away from there as fast as I could, but when I returned, I found Ariel crying in my room. Such a drama queen. Why can't you cry in your own room?
My best friend has been so depressed since her parents got divorced. And she's always crying and sniffling, and it's so annoying. Ugh, her puffy eyes are so ugly. I can't be seen with her, so please date her and cheer her up. Just once.
I reluctantly agreed, just so they both leave me alone after that. So the next day after school, I said I'd meet her friend at a nearby milkshake shop, and when I got there, Ariel was also with her. Weirdest date ever. We ordered our drinks, and then this girl who was in my history class, called Elsa, came with our milkshakes. Ariel took one sip of her drink and spat it out.
Ew, I said bubblegum milkshake, not strawberry. You must be extra stupid for getting it wrong.
And then she threw the glass on the floor and told Elsa to clean it up. Have you lost your mind? You can't treat people like this.
Dad is so right about you. Being a softie will get you nowhere, brother. And you, stupid girl, don't just stand there. Get me a new milkshake.
You're pathetic. I ran after Elsa to check if she was okay, and I found her crying in the back alley. I'm so sorry about my sister. She's a real piece of work.
Yeah, it's not the first time she's done this.
But you shouldn't allow her to bully you like this.
I have no choice. My boss says customers come first, and I can't afford to lose this job. It pays my school fees.
I didn't know much about Elsa, because she always hid her face behind her long hair and never spoke in class. And because of what my sister did, I offered to buy her lunch at school. When I sat with her in the cafeteria the next day, the entire school had their eyes on us, because this was the first time I was seen with some girl. While we talked, she kept looking down, and suddenly I lifted her chin up gently and pushed her hair behind her ears. I was amazed at how beautiful she was. Wow, you're lovely. You shouldn't hide your face like that.
Thank you. You're the first person here who's been this nice to me. But I think people are looking at you, wondering why some rich and handsome guy like you is sitting with a waitress.
I couldn't care less about what they're thinking, but they're probably all looking at you. I started hanging out with her every day and found myself falling for her fast. I like how Elsa was gentle and soft-spoken, but she also had a fun, quirky side that was adorable. But one evening when I got home, Dad was waiting for me in the living room with Ariel by his side. Your sister tells me you're dating some poor girl. Is this true? Ariel is crazy. How How do you judge a person without even knowing where they're from?
Because she's a waitress, stupid.
You're stupid because you keep poking your nose in my business. Just then, Mom walked in after some errands, and Dad told her to make him tea. Mom just walked into the house and you're already giving her orders?
It's okay, Ian. I don't mind.
No, Mom, it's not okay. These two are always bullying us around, and now they're telling me who I can and can't date?
That's because this girl he likes is a gold digger.
I'm not letting you embarrass us by being with some beggar. What will people think? That sounds like your problem, because I don't care. And guess what? She's coming over for dinner this weekend, and you will be nice to her. If you don't agree, Dad, I will drop out of school and move out, and you can find another son to help you with the business. Dad knew that I was smarter than his precious daughter, and he needed me to take over his business one day, so he had no choice but to give in. The next day when I invited Elsa over, she looked gorgeous and really nervous.
I'm so scared to meet your parents.
Don't worry, you'll be just fine. They'll love you. Mom did seem to, but Dad and Ariel glared at her. So, Ella, is it?
Elsa, sir.
What do your parents do?
I don't have parents. I live with my grandmother and I take care of her. So basically, you're poor.
Ariel, that's very rude. I kicked my sister under the table, and she cried out angrily and stormed out of the room. Sometime later, Elsa excused herself to go to the bathroom, and Mom told her it was upstairs. She was gone for a while, so I decided to check on her, and I stopped short when I found her in my parents' room, opening Mom's jewelry box. Elsa, what are you doing here?
Ian, you startled me. And oh, this isn't what it looks like. I promise. Your sister came out of your parents' bedroom, shoved this diamond ring in my hand, and told me to leave. She ran off before I could say anything, so I just came here to put it back. I don't know what's going on. Liar!
We turned around to see Ariel in the doorway.
She's lying. I never gave her the ring. Mom! Dad! We have a thief in the house!
Shut up, Ariel! But the two had already come up running, and Elsa looked scared out of her wits.
Check her bag. I'm telling you, she's a thief.
Ariel suddenly snatched Elsa's bag, and as it fell to the ground, a lot of Mom's jewelry fell out. I didn't know what to think. Get out of our house before we call the police. Elsa ran out crying, and I was too shocked to even run after her. If she needed money so badly, she could have asked me for help. There had to be some reason she felt she had to steal. But I never saw her again. She just didn't come to school after that. And when I asked the school admin, they told me she transferred to another school. Ariel and her friend were over the moon.
My friend is still available if you want to date her.
No, thank you. And you should focus on school. Your math teacher spoke to me today and told me you're failing badly.
Oh, I'm the most beautiful girl in this school. And I don't think I'm going to use math in my modeling career.
Ariel did fail high school, and for the first time, Dad was so disappointed in her. She couldn't get a job anywhere, not even as a model. So she ended up working as a waitress in one of Dad's restaurants, where I was the manager. I had so much fun bossing her around. Ariel, the customers are waiting.
Well, do something about it.
I'm the manager. Go see to the customers now.
Daddy, Ian's being mean to me.
He's just doing his job, so please do yours. I'm already doing you a favor because you're not a very good waitress. Ariel looked ready to explode, and suddenly, she threw her tray at the wall.
Oh, so Ian's your favorite child now? Dad, how about we tell him about the time you plotted with me to get rid of his girlfriend, Elsa?
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. Dad asked me to slip Mom's jewelry into Elsa's bag. Duh. And he also found out where she lived and gave her grandmother money to take Elsa to another school.
I couldn't believe my ears. I looked at Dad for answers, but he didn't show an ounce of guilt. Yeah, so? I only did it for you, Ian. There are plenty of girls out there, and I didn't want you to be trapped by a poor one. I quit my job that very moment, and before I moved out of the house, Mom gave me a check for a huge amount of money.
Ian, I've been saving up money secretly for years, and I want you to have this. Use it wisely, son.
Mom, thank you so much. And you're coming with me.
Sweetheart, I have more money saved. And now that you kids are old enough, I'm leaving your father and moving to Bali. It's time I lived my life.
I'm so happy for you, Mom. I used the money to start my own IT company, which became very successful over the years. The only thing missing in my life was love. Then one day at the grocery store, I was standing in line at the counter when I spotted a black-haired girl ahead of me. It was Elsa. Cashier was telling her that her card wasn't working, and she looked really bothered. How much is it? I'll pay. Elsa turned around and stared at me in shock, and then she looked mad.
No need. I'll come and buy these things later.
She left her grocery cart and walked off quickly, and I followed. Elsa, please wait.
Go away, Ian. I don't need your help. I'm not poor now, by the way. Something just went wrong with my card. I know what my family did.
I know, and I'm so sorry. Look, you don't have to forgive me or have anything to do with me. I'd just like to help you out right now. Let me pay, please. She calmed down a bit, and we went back inside to clear her bill. Then she briefly thanked me and left, but I just couldn't stop thinking about her for days. A week later, I was watching TV at home when I heard the doorbell, and I was shocked to find Elsa standing there. Elsa, you're the last person I was expecting.
I felt I owed you dinner as a thank you for the other day, and I just wanted to say that I forgive you. Everyone deserves a second chance, right? So here, I'm giving you one.
Her smile made my heart skip a beat, and I gently pushed her hair away from her face. You're still the most beautiful girl I've ever met.
Tell your friends, your sister, brother, and mom to subscribe now. I was born to filthy rich parents and a sister who was 5 years older than me, Angela. And I discovered early on in my life that they just weren't very nice people. Like once when I was 5, we were all walking out of a shopping mall when suddenly a lady holding grocery bags tripped over something and fell face forward. I ran to see if she was okay, but my parents and Angela burst out laughing. Why are you guys laughing?
Because it was so funny the way she fell.
No, it wasn't.
You must have missed her face. She looked so dumb as she went flying.
And they started laughing again. I felt so mad as I helped the lady gather her stuff, and she quickly walked away looking embarrassed. My family could be such a bunch of jerks. They weren't even nice to people related to them. When I was in the 2nd grade, Mom's poor sister came by one day and asked her for help.
I can't even make rent this month.
If I lend you money once, you'll just keep asking for more. Why don't you get off your lazy butt and go get a job?
I work 2 shifts at the supermarket.
I mean a real job. I'm sorry, sis, but we really don't have extra to spare. We just put a lot of money into our vacation home in Italy. My aunt had a daughter my age, and I signaled her to follow me quietly. I took her to my room and gave her all the money I'd saved in my piggy bank. She hugged me tight and said she hadn't had anything to eat properly in 2 days. So I snuck down to the kitchen and filled her backpack with food, and she was so happy. But Mom found out, and they were banned from ever coming by again. And I was grounded. For what? Being nice? Angela wasn't much better than Mom and Dad. She was spoiled and rude, but she never got grounded. I just stayed out of their way as much as I could because she could be really mean, especially when I didn't follow her crazy orders, like sorting out her 900 pairs of shoes or cleaning her insanely messy room. All my parents cared about was making money, so they hardly paid attention to me and Angela growing up. But I was pretty popular in school. I was that go-to girl whenever anyone needed help with their homework, or if they didn't have lunch money. They'd come to me, and I really liked that. One day in 10th grade, I was walking down the hallway when I saw a bunch of girls from class surrounding a new girl, and they seemed to be mocking her. Hey, what's going on here? Are you guys bullying the new girl? Oh, we're not bullying. You know we just like to have fun with the newbies. It doesn't look like she's having fun. So how about you guys back off? I thought we had a deal. I help you with your math homework and you don't bug anyone. The girls walked away and I helped the new girl pick up her bag and things lying around on the floor. Thanks a lot for that. They were making fun of my Hello Kitty bag. Like, what's wrong with that? Nothing wrong at all. The new girl's name was Shirley. She wasn't in my class, but we started hanging out at lunch every day and we really clicked. I had plenty of friends at school, but no best friend, and I really felt Shirley could be the one. One day when we were sitting together, a few kids from my class joined us, and I could sense Shirley looked uncomfortable. So, what's your deal, Shirley? Haven't you made friends with your classmates? Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. What's your problem? No problem, just asking. Jeez, your face is as red as your hair. You look like you're about to burst. Oh yeah? Well, maybe I am. Shirley suddenly grabbed a plate of pasta and rubbed it all over the boy's shirt. He jumped up looking really pissed off and left the table, and the rest followed him. Hey, come on, Shirley. He was just joking. Yeah, so was I. Look what I posted on Instagram this morning. Shirley was a strange girl who didn't get on well with anyone except me. But I enjoyed her company, and she made me laugh a lot since she always had the best jokes to share. One day, I'd invited her over and Angela walked into the lounge and looked at Shirley with disgust. Gosh, my eyes are hurting looking at 2 redheads. Nadia, do you have to bring your lame friends to the house? Well, you bring your loud friends around all the time, so buzz off, Angela. Shirley didn't say a word, but once Angela left, she asked to see our garden. I thought it was strange, but I took her outside anyway. and her eyes scanned the yard. Suddenly, she started running towards something and sprang forward. When she got up, I saw that she was holding a rat in her hands. "Shirley, what are you doing?" "I think it's time we teach your sister a lesson." "No, I'm used to her being that way. She's always mean to me." "Not anymore." Shirley sneaked the rat into Angela's room, and moments later, we saw her running out like her pants were on fire. "Rat!" Shirley and I quickly became best friends, and we'd do everything together. We had a school dance coming up, and we went shopping and picked out some lovely dresses. I was really excited to wear the royal blue one I'd bought, but when I reached the dance, I saw that Shirley was wearing the exact same one. "Hey, you look good, but didn't you pick out a green one?" "Yeah, but when I got back home, I didn't like it as much and returned it." "You don't mind that I got the same one, right?" "Of course not." But when I got home, Angela was waiting in my room with her phone in her hand. "I just saw your pictures on Instagram. Why are you and Shirley twinning?" "She bought the same dress as me. No big deal." "This girl just gives me the creeps, Nadia. I'm telling you, she's not normal. She's a little different, but there's nothing wrong with her. Who buys the same dress as their friend and wears it to the same party? And she's here all the time, and when she leaves, she keeps calling you. That's just crazy. It doesn't bother me, and I don't even know why you care." I just ignored Angela. She'd never liked me since we were kids, and of course she was gonna pick faults with my best friend. My 16th birthday came around soon, and my parents announced that they were throwing me a huge birthday party. I knew they were only doing it to show off to their friends, but I didn't care. I invited loads of kids from school, and we were having a really good time when suddenly, Shirley climbed onto the stage where the band was playing. "Nadia, you've been the bestest friend to me, and I wish that all your dreams come true, and I hope that I'm with you every step of the way. Happy birthday, my dearest friend." I was touched by how much she cared for me, but just then, Shirley stumbled and fell off the stage. I ran to help her up, and she said she felt really dizzy. She asked me to take her home, and I called the car around immediately. When I got to her house, I was surprised to see that her house was huge, way bigger than mine. I realized just then that she'd never invited me, and she hardly ever spoke about her family. It turned out neither of her parents were home, and she begged me to stay. "Please, don't go. I really don't feel well, and I don't want to be alone." Seeing her so sick, I just couldn't leave her. So I called my parents and told them to send everyone home because I had to stay with Shirley. The next day when I woke up in her room, I nearly fell off the bed in fright. Shirley was sitting by my side, watching me with a smile. "Oh my gosh, you scared me. Were you watching me sleep?" "I was just waiting for you to wake up, silly. Here, I made you coffee, and breakfast is waiting for you downstairs. Oh, and you can wear my clothes. I've laid them out for you." It looked like her chef had cooked up a feast for a party, but it was just the two of us. Her parents still weren't home. As I was heading out, Shirley hugged me warmly. "I'm so glad you stayed. I feel so much better now." "Yeah, I'm glad too." Shirley had her driver drop me home, and 5 minutes after I'd left, she sent me a text saying that I was the most caring friend ever. I felt sorry for her. It seemed like her parents were even more neglectful than mine. The year flew by, and soon we were graduating high school and going to different universities. Shirley was really quiet during the graduation ceremony. After it was over, we walked out of school and carved our names on a tall oak tree outside the gates. "Promise you'll call and text me every day?" Every day? I'm gonna miss you so much." "Me too." We hugged and she held me so tight, I thought she wasn't gonna let go. Soon after I joined university, Angela started working in Mom and Dad's insurance company, and they moved to Europe to set up another branch there. It was just me and Angela now, which wasn't that different from before. I started interning at their company during my free time. One day I was walking out of the office kitchen with my coffee when a guy bumped straight into me, and it fell all over his shirt. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
No, it's my fault. I wasn't paying attention.
He took his shirt off right there to wash it in the sink, and boy was he ripped. When he turned to me again, I tried really hard not to stare at his abs. He introduced himself as Ryan, one of the general managers in the company. He seemed to have no idea that I was the boss's daughter, and I didn't mention it. We kept bumping into each other at the office every now and then, until one day he asked me out on a lunch date.
So, how come you didn't tell me you were the boss's daughter?
"Oh, so you knew all along?"
No, but I asked around about you right after the first time we met.
Well, I didn't want to scare you away. Ryan was sweet and funny, and I had a really great time with him. As we walked out of the restaurant, he gently helped this old woman with her heavy bags to get onto the bus, and my heart totally melted. We started seeing each other often, and once we took a selfie at the park that I posted on Instagram. Shirley immediately sent a heart reaction to my post and said she missed me and would come to see me soon. But later that evening when I got home, I found her sitting outside on our porch. She was crying non-stop, refusing to tell me what was wrong. I took her inside and made her a cup of tea, and she calmed down.
Okay, are you ready to tell me what happened now?
I had a fight with my parents, and I don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to go back there right now. I hugged her and told her she could stay for the night. Just as the two of us had settled into bed to watch a movie, Angela walked in and stopped short when she saw Shirley.
You again? When are you gonna leave my sister alone, weirdo?
Angela, can you not be a jerk for once? Angela stormed off, and just then my phone rang.
Hi, I was just thinking about you.
I couldn't stop smiling when I heard Ryan's voice. We'd just started talking when suddenly, Shirley started choking on popcorn. I quickly hung up and ran to the kitchen to get her some water. Oh, thank you. I don't know how that happened. Who was that on the phone? It's this guy I met recently. You know, the one I posted a selfie with? Oh, you have a boyfriend now? Yeah, I think you could call it that. And suddenly, Shirley looked mad. And you didn't think I deserved to know about this? Best friends are supposed to tell each other everything. And this is why you haven't been calling me like you promised, right? I'm sorry, Shirley, but I have other things to do in my life. Not everything can revolve around you. Shirley started crying again, and I felt bad. Please, don't cry. It's not like you care. With that, she just ran out the door. I didn't stop her because she needed some space to clear her head. After some hours, I called her to check if she was okay, and she didn't answer. But the next day at work, I received a bouquet of flowers from her with a card saying that she was sorry. Her behavior was getting really weird. And one day when Ryan and I were having lunch at our favorite restaurant, she popped out of nowhere like a rabbit. Hey, Shirley, what are you doing here? Oh, I was just passing by and I saw you guys. I'm Shirley, Nadia's best friend.
Oh, yes, she told me about you.
But she's hardly told me anything about you, and I'm dying to know more. Tell you what, I'll buy you guys lunch today. Ryan and I were lost for words as she just joined us. Shirley went on and on about how close we were in high school, and then Ryan said,
I haven't known Nadia for that long, but yeah, she's amazing. I think I'm in love with her already.
I blushed as he spoke and took his hand. I think I'm in love with you too. When we looked up at Shirley, her face seemed to be twisted in rage. What? You just met the guy. How can he love you so fast? I think he's a psychopath. Shirley, tell me you're joking. No, just look at him. He's too good to be true, which means he's totally fake. I'm only trying to look out for you, Nadia.
What the heck?
I don't need you to do that, Shirley. In fact, I think you should leave. Shirley looked at us like a crazy person and then left. But a few days later, I received a call from the police station that Ryan had been arrested for attacking a woman. When I got there, Ryan said the police had picked him up from his place because Shirley had complained that he'd attacked her in a park. I got him out on bail, and then I told Shirley to meet me. Shirley, are you insane? Why are you doing this to me? Ryan attacked me. You're gonna take his word over mine? Yes, I will. You have a problem, and I need you to stay away from me and my life. After that, Shirley dropped the charges on Ryan and started sending me cards and flowers to my house, telling me how sorry she was. One day, she even came by my house at midnight and started screaming and crying outside, begging me to talk to her. But she went running when Angela got up and chased her away.
I told you this girl was crazy, Nadia.
I know, and I don't know how to stop it. I broke down and started crying, and for the first time ever, my sister comforted me.
It's okay. I won't let anything happen to you. Promise.
Angela took me to the police station that very night to get a restraining order against Shirley, and I blocked her from all of my social media accounts. After that, I never heard from her again, which was a huge relief. Soon after, I graduated university, and Ryan and I got married. Angela was my maid of honor, but my parents didn't even bother showing up, and I really didn't care. A year later, we had a beautiful baby girl, Rose. She had red hair like mine and Ryan's beautiful blue eyes. My life was going good until one day, while I was pushing Rose in a stroller in a store, Shirley appeared in front of me. Hi! My heart started pounding because a part of me was scared of her, but I tried to calm myself down. Hello, how have you been? I got myself into therapy, and since then, I've been great. Is this your baby? Oh, it's your hair. I mean, our hair. Yeah, I'm in a hurry. We'll catch up soon. I quickly went up to the counter to pay, and just then, a couple of girls behind me started screeching as they looked at their phones. OMG, a new episode is up on My Story Animated. I was waiting for it all day. It's my favorite channel on YouTube. As I looked away from them and turned back to my stroller, I froze. My baby was gone. Just then, I spotted Shirley outside, running away with Rose. I screamed and went after her, but she got into her car and started reversing. I managed to catch up and opened the back door and jumped in. What are you doing, you crazy witch? You never should have left me, Nadia. I was your best friend, and I would have done anything for you. Best friends don't hurt each other. Stop, right now. Shirley drove the car faster, and I secretly dialed a call to Angela. Thankfully, she answered, and I kept it on speakerphone so she could hear everything. Where are you taking us, Shirley? We're going to our high school, so we can show little Rose where we first met. And when we got to the school, she took my baby and walked to the tree where we'd carved our names. You see, this is where your mom and I made a promise to stay friends forever. And then she broke that promise. I couldn't bear to see Rose in her arms, and I leapt forward and attacked her. She let go of Rose, and as the two of us fought, we suddenly heard police sirens. The officers quickly arrested Shirley, while I held Rose tightly to my chest. Just then, Angela arrived on the scene too, and she threw her arms around us. Oh my God, I was so scared. I just knew you'd pick up my call and would know exactly what to do. You were always right about Shirley. You've been trying to look out for me since then, and I ignored you. I don't blame you, Nadia. I wasn't the best sister growing up, but you're an amazing sister and aunt now. I'm just glad you're both fine. Rosie, are you okay? Rose pulled a strand of Angela's hair and said, "Ooh, gaga," and we both started to laugh. Hi, I'm Dinah from Sweden, and I've got a story to tell you from many years ago about the weirdest parents ever. I didn't have the internet back then to keep me company, and I was just stuck with them. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. I never knew what my dad did for a living, but I knew he was a weirdo and a liar. And Mom, she was worse. We would only leave the house at night and never together. It was either me and Mom or me and Dad, and we never had any visitors. Dad always said it was safer that way, whatever that meant. I used to call myself an only child, although I had a sister. Her name was Maria. She was 2 years older than me, and she never left her room, and I was never allowed to go near her. Whenever I told Mom I wanted to see Maria, she'd get annoyed. How many times do I have to tell you? She doesn't want to see anyone. I knew Mom was a crazy liar. Of course my sister would want to see me. Eventually, I just stopped asking to see Maria. It was useless. Once I started school, my parents told me to even lie about who I was. They gave me a different name to tell everyone, Jane. Now remember, talk less and listen more. In fact, if you could act like you're mute, that would be perfect. Yes, Mom, I'll do exactly that. I only had one friend named Hope, and she was nice and really talkative. Once when we were in 4th grade, she said, "So Jane, why don't you ever talk about your family? You never asked." "Okay, I'm asking now. What's your family like?" "Oh, you won't believe it. They're weirdos. Dad never lets us go outside, and we never have any visitors, except some strange men he brings sometimes. And Mom, she's insane. She does whatever Dad tells her to do. Also, I have a sister, but I kinda don't have a sister. How to explain this? Okay, let me start from the beginning." And I told her every single thing about my weird family. And the next day, Hope was gone. I asked the teacher about her, and she said that she and her family had moved to another city. I was furious. That day, I screamed at my parents and blamed them for sending Hope away. They acted all innocent and said they had nothing to do with it, but I didn't believe them one bit. I didn't talk to them for days, until one night, I sneaked into the lounge and found my parents watching TV. The news channel was showing a picture of my dad with big words on the screen like liar, hypocrite, and fraud. And even worse, my picture and my mom's were also being shown. I knew it. You're an evil man, a criminal. Finally, everyone knows who you really are, and they'll take me away. Me and my sister will be free. Mom came running to me and picked me up and took me to my room. Put me down.
Pack your things, Dinah. We're leaving.
What? Where? Why?
There's no time for questions.
I'm not doing anything you say.
I slammed the door behind Mom and locked it. I climbed into my bed feeling furious, and after some time, I dozed off. And when I woke up, I was in a different room.
Apparently, we had moved to another city. I was so pissed at my parents.
But at least I'd go to a new school now and have new friends that I could tell everything to. But one night, Dad came to my room with a gift. This doll is for you, baby.
I'm too old for dolls, Dad. Do you even know how old I am?
Well, we have the entire year to know each other because I've decided to homeschool you.
What? There's no way that's gonna happen.
Dad ignored me, but I was determined not to be homeschooled. Whenever they tried to teach me, I'd come up with some excuse.
Nope, I'm sick. My eyebrows are hurting. Ugh, I had a bad dream that a chicken ate me. I'm still not over it. Try tomorrow.
And it kept going on like that for a year until my parents gave up. Dinah, you can join school now and even use your real name.
You mean my real name? And everyone would know I'm your daughter?
Yes, honey, exactly.
You guys are awful. I saw Dad on TV. Now that everyone knows he's evil, you want people to know that I'm your daughter? No way. I'm not falling for your games again. You're gonna give me a fake name, you hear me?
No, your dad isn't a bad person, Dinah. It was all a big misunderstanding, and it's cleared now.
Don't defend him. I don't believe you.
Don't believe us, but you're still going with your real name.
Fine, but I'm not showing anyone my face then. I'm gonna wear a mask and a hoodie, and no one will ever know who I am.
That's not going to happen.
I didn't ask for permission. I'm done listening to you guys. I'm going to school, and I'm wearing a mask. Period.
My parents didn't argue with me anymore, and they just left the room. And the next day, I wore a hoodie and a mask and went to school. Everyone was staring at me, but I didn't care. When the teacher asked me to introduce myself, I ignored her and went to sit at the back. And I noticed after some time that the girl next to me was constantly looking at me. Can you stop staring, please? You're making me uncomfortable.
Well, you're making me uncomfortable. But I gotta say, the mask idea is genius. It's the perfect way to hide your ugly face. But I'm sure you're not uglier than me. I should wear a mask too.
I'm not ugly, and neither are you.
Oh, come on. You're a liar too? Look at my nostrils. They're so wide you can see my brain. And penguins have better teeth than mine. And this dent in my chin, it looks like I have a butt on my face. My eyebrows are like a bridge over my eyes. Giraffes are competing with me for the longest neck. And see this mole.
Oh, God, stop talking. Why do you hate your face so much? It's not that bad.
Yeah, it is. I have 6 sisters, and I'm the ugliest. Yeah, they told me. They're all beautiful like models, while me, not even close. I mean, look at my legs. My calves are like tree trunks, and my nails, I bite them and chew them sometimes. They don't taste that bad. The point is, my hands are the ugliest.
Please, stop talking. I'm not used to someone who talks a lot.
Why? No one talks to you? What about your family? Are they dead? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm such an idiot. My sisters say that too.
No, they're not dead. Can you please stay quiet unless I ask you something?
So, you're not going to tell me about your family, huh? I told you everything about myself. Also, you expect me to shut up so I won't annoy your majesty? Who do you think you are? You're just a weirdo with a mask.
I didn't mean to upset you. Listen, I'll tell you everything once I trust you.
Why can't you trust me now?
I just need some time, okay?
Fine. I trust all people, especially the weird ones. But whatever.
Oh my God. Her name was Nastya, and she was nuts. But at least she was helpful. She gave me a tour of the school and helped me get familiar with everything. But she wouldn't stop introducing me to everyone.
Hey guys, this is Dinah. She doesn't like talking about her family. Weird, right? And I still don't know anything about the mask. And no, she says she's not ugly.
I knew there was no use asking her to shut up, so I just waved to the kids and kept walking. Nastya and I got closer over the coming weeks, and I started to trust her a little bit. But that was a mistake. One day, we were walking down the hallway when we saw a group of girls coming towards us, and Nastya freaked out.
Oh my God, that's Eva!
Before I could ask her who that was, Nastya got down on her knees and held Eva's hand.
How are you today, our princess? How was your trip?
Oh, get up, Nastya. You're pathetic. I just saw you this morning, and you asked the same questions, and I ignored you. Can't you take a hint? And who is this weirdo?
That's Dinah, my best friend. She's at your service. She likes you so much. No, she adores you.
No, I don't. I don't even know who she is. And she doesn't seem very nice. Oh, we have a brave one here. That's a lot of nerve for someone who covers their face. Let me guess. You're the school bully. Gotcha. Nastya, let's go. We don't have time for this. I started walking away, but Nastya didn't move. I don't think you understand how things work around here. Everyone does what Eva says. Girls, catch her and take her to the bathroom. You too, Nastya. Now. The girls started approaching me, including Nastya. I couldn't believe it. No, Nastya, are you crazy? You're my friend. But as she kept coming closer with a cold face, I suddenly slapped her hard. Just then a teacher came into the hallway and Eva whistled to the girls and they all backed off and followed her, like they were her pets. And I couldn't believe that the only person I trusted a bit turned out to be as terrible as my parents. I was never going to talk to Nastya again. But I had a bigger problem right now. Eva. It looked like I'd made an enemy out of the most feared girl in school. I found out from some kids that she was 2 years older than me, and she could make or break your life here. And she was untouchable. Eva has perfect grades and perfect manners in class, and the teachers worship her. She never gets into trouble.
She put stolen exam papers in my sister's locker and got her expelled just because my sister refused to do her homework. My best friend is in therapy because of how much Eva hurt her.
Jeez, this girl seemed like a monster. And now, I was wondering what she'd do to me. The next day when Nastya walked into the classroom, I almost fell off my seat. She was wearing an avocado-shaped outfit with 2 horns on her head. Everyone was laughing as she sat down.
What are you staring at?
Why are you wearing that?
What? You're the only one allowed to look weird?
I don't care, dude. Be as weird as you like. It's not like we're friends. Why was I even talking to her? And Nastya didn't take off that ugly outfit for days. But then one day I was in the bathroom stalls when I heard some voices outside.
Eva, I've been wearing this for 4 days and it's itchy. Can't I take it off now?
A deal's a deal, loser. You begged me not to hurt Dinah, and I said I'd leave her alone if you wore the outfit for a week. Now stop whining or else. Wait, Eva hadn't hurt me because of what Nastya did? I peeked out the door to see Eva leaving, and then I came out. You've been wearing this ridiculous costume for me? Why are you doing this? You don't have to be so afraid of that witch, Nastya. I'm not.
That's because you don't know her, Dinah. She's my sister. I have to do what she says, or she'll make me miserable.
She's already making you miserable, can't you see? You can't live like a coward.
Coward? Says the girl who can't show her real face to anyone. And if you had a sister, you'd understand.
I do.
Do what?
I have a sister. I don't know what happened, but the moment I said the word sister, I broke down and started crying like crazy. And I told Nastya everything, but I made sure not to mention my parents' names. When I was done, Nastya didn't say anything. She just hugged me tight. Despite my protests, Nastya wore the outfit for the whole week, and we started hanging out again. Eva seemed to keep her distance, but I didn't trust her one bit. A few days later, Nastya came running to me excitedly at recess.
Oh my God, Dinah, you won't believe this. You know that cute jock Peter I have a crush on? The one in Eva's class? I saw him putting this note in my locker. Pinch me or punch me. I think I'm dreaming.
I saw the note, and he'd asked her out to the Valentine's Day dance. You saw him put this there?
With my own ugly eyes. No, my eyes must be beautiful if Peter likes me.
But Nastya, has he ever even talked to you before? Why is he suddenly asking you out?
What's your point, Dinah?
I mean, what if this is a prank? What if Eva planned it? And suddenly, Nastya looked mad.
Gosh, you really can't trust anyone, can you? And basically what you're saying is, why would someone like Peter ask out someone like me, right?
No, that's not what I said.
You didn't have to. I'm not as stupid as I look. You're no better than my sisters.
And before I could reply, Nastya ran away tearfully. I tried talking to her the next few days, but she just acted like I was invisible. I had no plans to go to the Valentine's Day dance. I didn't even have a date. But my gut feeling kept telling me something about the whole Peter thing was off. So an hour before the party, I decided to go. And when I got there, it was worse than I'd feared. I saw Nastya walking up to Peter and tapping him on the shoulder. He turned around and burst out laughing.
Well, hello, Nastya. I didn't know this was a party for clowns.
I didn't get the joke. Sorry, my sisters say I'm dumb.
Girl, what's wrong with your makeup? Did you do it sitting on a roller coaster in the dark?
No, my sister Eva did it.
You're kidding, right? Eva always looks perfect. And you look like a mess.
That's no way to talk to your date, dude.
Date? Are you out of your mind? I'm here with Eva, loser.
I'd heard enough. I ran forward and punched Peter in the face. Shut up, you jerk. Don't talk to my friend like that. Just as I took Nastia's hand to get her out of there, I heard Eva whistle, and her friends grabbed me. Oh, Dinah, you're about to find out how stupid it is to mess with me. But I really want to see your face before I teach you a lesson. With that, Eva leapt forward and snatched my mask off. But suddenly, she screamed in pain. Ow! Nastia, let go, you psycho! Nastia had jumped onto Eva and was pulling her hair so hard, I thought she'd take them right off her scalp. Her minions ran to help Eva, but Nastia wasn't backing off. I am a psycho. Don't mess with me or Dinah, or I swear, Eva, I'll chop your hair off in your sleep. I'll find the fattest rats and set them loose in your room. I'll switch all your Diet Coke with regular Coke so you'll get fat. I won't stop until you're as miserable as you've made me. Suddenly, the other kids started cheering for Nastia and pushed Eva's minions away. And Eva looked furious. She screamed as everyone booed her and stormed off with her gang. I hugged Nastia tight, and suddenly, she gasped. Dinah, that's the first time I'm seeing your face. Wow, you're gorgeous. Oh God, in all the chaos, I'd forgotten my mask was off. And now everyone had seen me, and they were giving me compliments about how pretty I was. And then I heard the dreadful words.
Wait a second, I know your dad. He was the famous politician who was accused of stealing public funds. We saw him all over the news.
What? Dad was a politician? And he was a thief? No, you're confusing me with someone else. My dad isn't a thief.
No, it's you. I saw the pictures too. And yeah, of course he's not a thief. Your dad is an honest, kind man. Everyone knows he was proved innocent.
Yeah, he helped a lot of people, including my cousins. He must be like a hero to you. What in the world? So my dad was actually a good man? I was so shocked and I couldn't breathe. I just ran away and Nastia followed me. I went straight back home to confront my parents.
You're not wearing your mask.
Just tell me one thing. People are saying you used to be a politician, Dad. A very kind one. Is that true?
Yes, honey. We tried telling you he was a good man, but you never listened.
Why didn't you tell me the truth from the start? Why did you treat me badly?
Sweetheart, we never meant to treat you that way. There were many people who wanted to hurt me while you were growing up, and we thought the less you knew, the less danger you'd be in. We're sorry we didn't tell you the truth. We just didn't want to scare you.
What about my sister? I want to see her, now! My parents looked at each other and then led me to her room. I saw her for the first time lying on her bed, sleeping peacefully.
She's been in a coma for years. We were wrong to keep this a secret, but we didn't want you to feel sad about her. We're sorry for all of this, Dinah. We love you so much.
She's so beautiful, just like you. I turned around to see Nastia and I hugged her. Guys, I think it's time for you to hug your daughter. Such weirdos. My parents joined our hug and I whispered, I'm sorry.
It's okay. We love you.
I love you too. I love you 3. Cheesy, but who cares? Hi, I'm Brianna from New York. Please like and subscribe. I was raised by my single dad who owned a multi-million-dollar company. Even though he was super busy, he always put me first, and I felt truly loved. He worked from home till I was 3, and then he hired the best nannies to take care of me while he was away. Life was good until one day, something really strange happened. I was 4 years old when one night, I saw Dad working really late and I decided to make him some hot chocolate. As I walked over to his desk, I suddenly tripped on the carpet and spilled it all over his laptop.
Oh my God, Brianna, you fried my laptop. It has so much important stuff on it.
Suddenly, I felt something happen to my face. I could feel my lips and nose and cheeks twitch uncontrollably. Dad noticed it and immediately took me to the doctor. She told us that face twitching was an involuntary condition, and it just happened to some people when they were stressed. There wasn't really any cure for it. When I turned 5, Dad enrolled me in the best school around. In the first lesson, the teacher asked us all to write a few lines about ourselves. But this girl next to me kept talking so loudly with her friends, I could hardly focus. Hi, can you make a little less noise, please? I'm trying to write and…
Gosh, are you telling me you're as stupid as you look? Don't interrupt me again.
Just then, my face twitched, and she looked even angrier as the others laughed. She thought I was mocking her, and after that day, Mona became my sworn enemy. And it just stayed that way forever, even when we got older. Once, when I was in 7th grade, Dad and I got stuck in traffic on our way home, and we saw a homeless couple on the pavement fighting over a sandwich. A boy my age was sitting near them with a basket of apples, and he came running towards us. "Sir, would you like to buy a pound of apples? It only costs $1, and with that, I'll buy dinner." Dad bought 5 pounds and gave him $200. The boy's face lit up and he skipped off happily.
Poor kid. He should be in school, but his parents can't afford it.
Dad, why don't we do that? Let's send him to school. Please, can we?
He smiled and nodded. A week later, Dad enrolled him in my school, and when the teacher introduced him to the class, I found out his name was Jack. He didn't seem to recognize me, and I never brought it up that I'd seen him before, or that my dad was the one who helped him. I didn't want him to feel embarrassed. But the rest of the kids were brutal, especially that Mona.
Hey, Jack, why do you walk to school every day? Where's your car, man?
Come on, guys. Can't you see how poor he is? His pants are 2 sizes too small for him, and all he eats for lunch are apples.
I wanted to punch her face, but Jack didn't even react and walked away. I asked Dad to get him new clothes, and the next day, Jack looked so much happier. One day at the end of class, the teacher asked Jack to collect everyone's assignments. As he was walking through the aisle, someone stuck a leg out and he tripped and landed hard on the floor. I rushed forward to help him, but Mona got there first and threw a whole bottle of ink on him. That was it. I grabbed her bag and threw everything out of the window. She screamed and pulled my hair. I turned around and slapped her face. As we wrestled, we went crashing into a poor kid's solar system project, sending planets flying everywhere. We both ended up in detention, but it was worth it. The next day, I saw Jack walking towards me in the hallway, and I felt nervous. It was the first time we'd be talking. As he got close, my face started twitching. He stopped and abruptly turned away. Oh no! Jack, please stop. I didn't mean to tease you.
You just wrinkled your nose like I'm something disgusting. I thought you were different after what you did yesterday.
Just let me explain, will you? I told him about my condition and his face softened. We started hanging out after that, and soon we became friends. Well, I started having a small crush on him. He was sweet and simple, unlike any of the other rich, hoity-toity boys I knew. A few days later at a park entrance, someone was selling lottery tickets and we both got a ticket each for fun. The results were posted online the next day, but Jack said he was too nervous to look. I laughed and took both tickets and started scrolling through the results. My eyes almost popped out when I saw some numbers. The winning one was mine. OMG, I just won the $10 million lottery. I didn't really need it, but this money could change Jack's life. So without another thought, I switched our tickets. Oh my god, Jack, you've won freaking $10 million. Can you believe this? He stared at me in shock, then started whooping and jumping around like a crazy monkey. It was the best moment of my life. I was so excited to meet him after the weekend, but as soon as I entered school, I spotted him in a corner surrounded by some kids, including Mona. Gosh, couldn't they just leave him alone? I rushed forward and shouted, "Just knock it off and stop bullying."
No, Brianna, relax. They're my friends.
I stared at him in disbelief. Friends? These guys? Turns out, Jack was on the local news for being the lottery winner, and now everyone in school was suddenly his friend. Kids were swarming over to our table at lunch and nearly knocked me off trying to sit closer to him. Everyone wanted to know what he'd do with his millions. And well, he was spending them. One day, the flashiest yellow sports car drove up to school, and Jack jumped out of the back seat. He was now wearing branded clothes and carrying the latest iPhone, showing everyone pictures of his mansion. I was really happy for him, but he was suddenly so busy with all these new people and going to parties, I barely got to see him anymore. So one day, I texted him to ask if we could meet later, and he said he'd love to take me out for dinner. In fact,
He picked out a really fancy restaurant, and it kind of felt like a date. But I was so mad when I kept waiting for 3 hours and he never showed up. He wouldn't even pick up his phone. On my way home, we were driving past some cafes when suddenly I yelled at my driver to stop. I spotted Jack under a streetlight, putting his scarf around a girl's neck and pulling her in for a kiss. And the girl was freaking Mona. I stormed over to them. "What the heck, Jack? You stood me up for dinner, and what are you doing with her?" "He's kissing me, twitchy face, because I'm his girlfriend." "His what?" "Jack, are you crazy?"
Gosh, Brianna, I totally forgot about dinner. And no, I'm not crazy. Mona has apologized for everything to me, and she's actually really sweet.
"No, she's not, Jack. Can't you see she's suddenly into you because you're rich? That's why all those other people are your friends too."
What's your problem, Brianna? Why can't you just be happy for me? Does it bother you that I'm not your poor friend anymore? The one you can feel sorry for and take care of? You just can't stand that I'm as rich as you now.
I can't believe you just said that. And suddenly, my face started twitching horribly.
God, I hate when your face does that. It's so annoying.
I snapped and slapped him across the face. "I don't even know who you are anymore." And with that, I ran back to my car with angry tears down my face. I was heartbroken, and I told Dad everything that had happened that night.
I'm so sorry, sweetheart. And I'm sad to hear Jack's turned out this way. He'll soon realize he's lost the best friend he ever had.
Well, it didn't look like it would be anytime soon, because he and Mona were now the hottest new couple in school. I could hardly stand to look at those two. But thankfully, the next few weeks, I was too busy working with my science club members to see much of them. Some professors from Harvard were coming to judge our projects, and we had a chance of winning a spot in a super exclusive summer program. When it was my turn to speak out at our presentation, I started off really confident. But just then, I spotted Mona and Jack in the auditorium pointing and making faces at me. I tried to focus, but I felt so flustered. My face started twitching and I forgot all my words. I turned to leave and I tripped and crashed straight into our project. As I saw Mona and Jack laughing from the corner of my eye, I picked myself up and ran away from there. I couldn't believe my best friend had become a spiteful jerk, ruining everything for me. I just never spoke to him again. A few days before the end of high school, I was walking past the principal's office when I saw Jack inside.
What's happened to you this past year? You've ignored all my warnings and now you've failed 3 subjects. You're not graduating high school. You'll have to repeat a year. What? Come on. Surely we can find another solution. How about I pay you 10 grand and you make my bad grades go away?
Get out of my office, Jack. I quickly walked off before he could see me. He was so smart, but he'd just been wasting his time over stupid things. And Mona publicly dumped him the same day when she found out because she said she didn't want to be with a loser anymore. I graduated high school with flying colors, and of course, Dad came to attend.
Oh, hello, sir. I wasn't expecting to see you here. Well, I was hoping to see you graduate along with my daughter, Jack. Your daughter? What's her name? Brianna. What? Brianna is your daughter? Yes. In fact, she's the one who insisted I send you to school all those years ago. You have a lot to thank her for, son, including that lottery ticket you think you won.
I was gathering my stuff from the locker when suddenly I found Jack standing behind me. What do you want?
Brianna, I know what you did. What kind of crazy person gives away $10 million?
What? How do you know that?
It doesn't matter. Just tell me, why did you do that for me?
Jack, when I saw you as a kid on the roadside, it broke my heart to think you didn't get as lucky as me to be born to rich parents. That lottery ticket was also just dumb luck. I didn't do anything to deserve it, but I really believed you deserved a better life. I still believe that, and I don't regret giving you the money at all.
I can't believe I was such a terrible jerk to the best person in my life. I'm really, really sorry. I don't deserve your forgiveness or your friendship, and I won't ever bother you again. Goodbye, Brianna. I hope you have a wonderful life.
He walked away, and I had a lump in my throat as I watched him leave. A few years later at university, I was studying in the library one evening when I realized it was quite late. As I was walking back to my apartment, I I suddenly felt like I was being followed. I looked around to find 2 masked men right behind me. I tried to run, but they caught up instantly, and one of them snatched my bag as the other pushed me to the ground. Just then, someone came out of the shadows and punched one of them. To my shock, I saw it was Jack. The 2 men started beating him up as I screamed for help. Just then, a policeman came around the corner and the 2 men ran away. I called an ambulance and immediately rushed Jack to the hospital. He was unconscious and in really bad shape. He went into a coma. 10 days later, I was sleeping on a chair by his bed when I felt a hand on mine. Oh my God, you're awake?
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Jack, why were you there that night? How did you even know where I was?
I regret what I did to you so much, Brianna. So I made a promise to myself to always look out for you. I was too stupid to notice, but all those years, you were my guardian angel. You watched over me and stood up for me when no one else did. I owe you my life forever, and I love you, Brianna.
Finally, you sound like that sweet boy I used to be friends with. I forgive you, Jack, and I love you too. And with that, I leaned in for a kiss.
Hi, I'm Princess Aurora from Monaco, and I was born to the most awful king and queen ever. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. I'm sure everyone thought I was the luckiest little girl in the world, but I didn't. The royal palace was a prison. My only playmates were the maids, and I was never allowed to go beyond the palace walls. My parents always said the world outside was ugly and cruel.
But look at these pictures, Daddy. These places look beautiful. Why won't you ever let me see them?
Sweetheart, you'll understand when you're older.
Why can't you tell me now? Why are you keeping me here? You won't even send me to school.
You have the best tutors in the world, darling.
But I have no friends.
Of course you do. Us.
Jeez, who wants to be friends with their parents? Once when I was 8, I was reading on my bed when suddenly someone crawled out from under it, and I fell off in shock. I looked up, and my eyes met those of a boy my age.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. If you tell on me, I'll be in so much trouble. I won't, pinky swear. Now tell me where you've come from.
He was one of the maid's kids, and he'd sneaked into the palace, and he had the most amazing things to tell me about the outside world.
Have you ever been on a roller coaster? My mom took me once. It goes so fast, you want to throw up. It's awesome, like you're flying.
I'd like to fly.
Ooh, and that same day, I ate cotton candy.
What's that?
It's like a cloud of sugar. It just melts in your mouth.
Oh, wow. He wanted to see the palace, so we tiptoed down the hallway. But just then we heard voices, and we crawled into a vent. And soon enough, my maids discovered I wasn't in my room, and everyone was going bonkers looking for me. The 2 of us couldn't stop laughing. When it looked like the hallway was clear, the boy crawled out first, and he was instantly grabbed by some guards.
Hey, stop it! He's my friend.
He's not supposed to be here. He could be dangerous.
He's not. Let him go.
But they took him away, and I stormed off to my parents, who started crying as they hugged me.
Mom, Dad, I'm fine. I was right here. Now tell those stupid guards to let my friend go.
What friend? There was someone inside the palace?
Yes, a boy. But he's nice, I promise.
My parents said they'd look into the matter, but the next day, I found out that the boy's mom was gone.
What did you guys do to the maid and her son? Did you fire her? Or did you throw them in the dungeon?
Of course not. She just decided it was best for her to leave.
You're such a liar, Dad. I made one friend and you took him away. You just don't want me to be happy.
And I ran off in angry tears. I was convinced my parents had done something awful to them. I'd never even asked his name. And after that, I decided that I wasn't letting them rule over my life anymore. The next day, when my etiquette teacher was going on and on about the right way to hold a fork, I suddenly jumped onto the table like a monkey, snatched it from her, and started scratching my back with it.
What are you doing, princess? That's so uncivilized.
Why should I be civilized when I live in a cage? I'm no better than a gorilla in a zoo.
I grabbed a banana and started chewing on it loudly. That's enough. Please, get down this minute. I threw the banana peel smack at her face. My parents were not happy when she quit, but I didn't stop there. I refused to study from my tutors. I wouldn't eat anything but junk food, and I refused to shower for weeks. Yo, what's up, friends? How about you read me a bedtime story? Good God, that smell. Please, honey, take a shower. What? It's not that bad.
Okay, I've had enough. Let's talk. What do you want, Aurora?
I want to go to school and have friends. To my shock, Dad actually agreed, but on the condition that I would wear a wig and a mask. Why? No one knows what I look like.
We have to be extra careful.
Fine, but no bodyguards. You don't want anyone to know who I am, right? Then let me be a nobody. And I couldn't believe it when the palace gates actually opened for me. And I was on my way to school. It was the most exciting day of my life. As I walked down the school hallway, I could see people giving me weird looks. When I entered the classroom, I noticed a bunch of kids gathered around a pretty girl who saw me and started laughing. Great. I wasn't gonna have an easy time making friends looking like this. Later at recess, I observed what the other kids were doing and saw them making their way to the food counter. I walked over straight to the lunch lady, when suddenly someone called out to me, the girl from my class.
What do you think you're doing, weirdo? Get in line.
What do you mean?
See this line? Get your butt at the end of it.
But why would I do that?
Because you have to wait for your turn? What are you, some moron or daddy's spoiled princess?
Daddy's spoiled princess. Well, high five, girl. My dad's really rich too and spoils me rotten.
But even I have to wait in line.
Oh, I see. But I'm pretty sure my dad's richer than yours. As I turned to walk away, the girl suddenly lunged at my mask. And the second she ripped it off my face, someone pulled her away and picked me up. I looked around in horror to see 10 bodyguards in plain clothes surrounding us. Everyone in the cafeteria was staring in stunned silence.
Princess Aurora, are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Now put me down.
And just like that, it was my last day of school. My parents said there was no way they could send me without security, and it was impossible for me to hide who I was. I just stayed in my room for the next 2 days and gave up on school. But the next day, Dad had some important guests for dinner, and when I joined them, everyone was staring at me.
Aurora, darling, why are you wearing a mask?
I just don't want anyone to see my face, Mom. Like, ever. But see? This hole I cut in my mask? I can drink with a straw. And I started slurping loudly on the soup. And from that day on, I refused to take the mask off in front of people. As I grew older, my parents expected me to go with them to boring ceremonies and parties. And no matter how much they begged, the mask always stayed on. Why are you doing this? There's so much speculation in the media about what you're hiding behind the mask. People think you're ugly or crazy. I didn't care. I didn't have control over anything in my life. But this, I could do. This was my act of rebellion. Soon after, on my 17th birthday, my parents called me into their room one day and dropped a bombshell on me.
We have some really important guests coming this week, and one of them is Prince Fardling. You need to make a good impression on him, so you will not wear your mask, please.
Why?
We were hoping you two would get married one day.
I stared at them, and then I laughed so hard I fell off my chair. You think I'm gonna marry someone whose name is Prince Farting? It's Fardling. I think she's actually gone crazy. I'm the one who's crazy? You're the one telling me you've decided who I'll marry.
No one has decided anything, but you will give him a chance.
The marriage could be good for our country's relationship. And do you care about what's good for me?
That has always come first.
How can you even say that? My entire life, you've never cared about what I want.
I'm so tired of this. You're a princess, Aurora, a princess. Everything isn't about you. Being royalty comes with certain obligations.
Nothing is about me, and I hate being a royal princess. The next few days, my parents and I gave each other the silent treatment. But sure enough, the guests arrived soon, and I was ordered to come down dressed up for the welcome dinner without my mask. Well, I had other plans. I knew it was a busy night at the palace with most of the guards at the main entrance. So I climbed out my window and ran away. I couldn't stay there another minute. I was literally dancing down the street when suddenly I took my mask off and threw it in the trash. All of Monaco knew me as the weird masked princess, but hardly anyone knew my real face. It was the best disguise. But as it started to get darker, I decided to look for a hotel for the night. Just then, a dark figure came running at me and snatched my phone out of my hand. But the moron didn't know I was trained in martial arts. I had him screaming on the ground in pain, and then he ran away like a scared rabbit. Suddenly, I heard someone behind me.
Wow, that was... Hey, no, don't hit me. I'm harmless.
I saw that it was a boy my age. Okay, I'll spare you, but only if you find me a place to stay for the night.
Why? Where's your house? And why are you out alone so late?
Do you always ask so many questions? Just find me a place, man.
Fine. What's your budget?
What do you mean?
I mean, how much money can you spend on a hotel?
Money? I don't have money.
Then how are you going to pay for a hotel?
The government will pay for it, I guess.
Did you just run away from a mental asylum?
No, I didn't. Listen, I'm a tourist, okay? And someone stole my bag and all my money. And I don't know my way around the city. So can you please help me? The boy looked at me and then sighed.
Fine, you can crash at my place, but just for tonight, okay? You gotta figure something out tomorrow.
Yes, I will.
I didn't catch your name.
Oreo.
Your name is Oreo, like the cookie?
What cookie?
Oh God, never mind.
I found out his name was Andre and that he lived with his parents in a really small house. And then he led me to a dingy shed outside and said I could sleep there. Why can't I sleep inside?
There's no space, and I'm not telling my parents I brought some crazy girl home. I'll just get you some blankets. Stay here.
Are you sure the news is true? How could this happen?
Yes. I heard it straight from my cousin who's a palace guard. Princess Aurora has indeed run away, but they're keeping it very quiet. They've told the guests that she's really sick. They'll try to get her back before the news gets out.
Poor girl. She must have been so miserable that she ran away. I hope she's safe.
Hey, listen, you can sleep in my room, but my parents better not find out.
He helped me through the window into his room and told me that I could take his bed while he'd sleep on the floor. But once Andre switched the light off, I kept tossing and turning to get comfortable. Gosh, this mattress was so lumpy.
Will you stop moving? All that creaking isn't letting me sleep.
Sorry. I'll be quiet as a mouse now. I tried to stay still, but I just couldn't fall asleep. Hey, are you awake?
Obviously, you're so noisy.
Thanks for everything, Andre.
You're welcome, Oreo.
The next morning, Andre shook me awake at 7 in the morning and said I had to leave with him as he was going to school.
I'll take you around the city after school, if you want. You can stay a little longer till you figure things out. You do have some plan, right?
Yeah, of course. I'll call my family for some money and I'll be gone before you know it. Thank you. Andre even let me borrow some clean clothes, and we walked together to his school. I'd promised I'd stay outside and wait for him, but only minutes after he'd left, I sneaked in too. As I walked down the hallway, I quickly hid behind a wall when I saw Andre by the lockers, with a pretty girl leaning against them. Hi, handsome. Are my assignments done?
You'll have them in a few days, Selena. I've been busy, and you still haven't paid me for the last ones.
I'll pay you for everything, Snookums. Don't you trust me?
Not really. How about you pay me for those first, and then you'll get the rest?
Don't push your luck, Andre. You're cute, but not that cute. If I don't have all the assignments by tomorrow, well, you know how difficult I can make things for you. And with that, she left. What a witch! And what was she holding over Andre? When I met him outside school later, he said that he couldn't take me around the city because he had a lot of work to do. I told him I was happy to help, and we headed off to the local library.
Oreo, you're a lifesaver. And you're really good at math.
Andre, these assignments aren't yours, are they? I sneaked in and saw you with that girl. Why are you putting up with her? She seems awful.
You got that right. But her dad frickin' owns the school, and she knows I'm on scholarship. She could make her dad take it away from me. At first, it didn't seem like a bad deal anyway because she'd pay me for the assignments. But now, sometimes she doesn't.
That's so unfair. Is it really that important for you to be at this school?
Yeah, it is. Being here will give me some great chances for college scholarships. I need to do this for my family, Oreo, but sometimes I just want to run away from everything.
I know exactly how that feels. Suddenly, Andre leaned in a little closer, and for some reason, my heart skipped a beat. His eyes were such a lovely blue. He reached over and rubbed his thumb over my nose.
You got some ink. You look like a clown.
I dipped my fingers into the ink bottle when he wasn't looking and smudged them all over his cheek. He reached for the bottle as I ran, and soon the librarian threw us both out. The next day, I was hanging out on the bleachers at school when he joined me during recess, looking bummed out. She didn't pay you for the assignments, did she?
No, she didn't.
How much does she owe you?
520 euros. Wait, where are you going?
To teach that girl a lesson?
Oreo, no. You'll just make things worse.
I promise. She won't think it has anything to do with you. Meet me outside. And before he could stop me, I put a handkerchief around my face and ran off inside the building. I spotted her walking by herself into the bathroom, and I stepped in after her and locked it. Hey, who are you?
Your worst nightmare.
Oh, open that door right now, or I'll scream. I'll kick your butt real hard if you even try. I'm not kidding. And I showed her my best karate moves. What do you want from me, psycho? How much money do you have in your wallet? I don't know. 600 euros? Okay, that's not a lot, but I'll take it. Oh, you wait till my daddy finds out. I grabbed her wallet, locked the bathroom from the outside, and sprinted like a maniac. Andre was waiting for me outside the school, and he almost fell down laughing when I told him.
Man, I wish I could have seen her face. You're crazy, Oreo. Good crazy. Now, I gotta keep my promise of showing you around.
And we had the best day ever. We cycled all over the city, ate ice cream till our tummies hurt, and then he took me to an amusement park. I have to go on a roller coaster. I've never been on one.
You're really missing out. Let's go!
But as the roller coaster began to go up the slope, I started freaking out. Oh my god, I can't do this, Andre.
Open your eyes, Oreo.
Nuh-uh, not happening.
You can't do this with your eyes closed. Just take my hand, okay?
I opened one eye and we were right at the top. I squeezed Andre's hand really tight.
Oh, and if you feel scared, just scream!
And boy, did I scream, and all my fear suddenly left me. This was the most freeing experience I'd ever had in my life. As we got off the ride laughing, Andre walked over to a guy and bought some pink fluff on a stick. What's this?
Cotton candy. Never tried it?
No, never.
It's like a cloud of sugar. Just melts in your mouth.
My heart leapt to my throat. That's what the boy who'd sneaked into the palace had said all those years ago. Come to think of it, Andre did look like him. Could it be? But just then, I saw some royal guards burst in through the crowd. Oh my god! Don't ask any questions right now, okay? Just run! We dashed through the crowd and found a way out of a fence. I hopped onto Andre's bicycle and he pedaled away for dear life. He didn't stop till we were really far off, and then we both collapsed to the ground.
Is there something you want to tell me, Oreo?
Okay, you got me. I'm Princess Aurora, and I ran away from the palace. Andre, are you the boy who sneaked in once? Do you remember meeting me?
Yeah, that was me. And of course I remember.
Oh God, I was so worried about what had happened to you and your mom. What did my dad do?
The king? Nothing. My mom had started getting sick back then, and after that day, she just told your parents that she decided to find an easier job because she had me to take care of too. They understood and they got her another job.
And all this time, I thought Dad had done something horrible to them.
Why did you run away, Aurora? What was the plan?
There was no plan. I'm just so tired of all of it, Andre. My whole life, they just kept me away from this wonderful outside world. How could they?
You know why your parents are like that, right?
What? What do you mean?
I think you need to go back and talk to them.
Do I really have to go back?
Well, you are a princess, and that does come with some obligations.
Jeez, now you're starting to sound like them.
Aurora, listen to me. You are amazing. You're beautiful and brave and smart, and you have the world at your feet. Don't waste it all by being angry. Think of all the great things you could do for so many people.
Do you really think I could?
I know you can.
And suddenly, he put his hand under my chin and kissed me.
It was the perfect first kiss. Later that night, I was in Andre's room while he was having dinner with his parents when suddenly his phone started buzzing nonstop. I peeked over at the screen and the word princess caught my attention, and the text I read left me shook. Stop messing with me, Andre. If you really have pictures of the princess, send them to me now. I looked through his phone with trembling hands to find photographs of me, sitting in the shed on my first night, stepping onto the roller coaster. More pictures around the city. What? Just then Andre walked in and his face turned white.
Listen, Aurora, it's not what you think it is.
Oh, and what do I think? That you're a creep who's been secretly taking pictures of me? Were you going to sell them to the press?
I do have a friend who works in a newspaper.
And you thought that you'd make big money by telling everyone I ran away. Oh, and even better, you'd be showing the real face of the weird masked princess. They must have offered you a lot of money for that. Will you just listen? No, I will not. Our loud voices had made Andre's dad come upstairs, and he looked shocked to see me.
Andre, who's your guest?
I'm the Royal Princess of Monaco, and I'd really appreciate it if you took me back to the palace now. And I left without another word to Andre. I couldn't even stand his face. I thought my parents would be raging mad when I got back home, but instead they just hugged me and burst into tears.
Aurora, we were so worried about you. Don't you ever scare us like that again, love?
I just have to know, Dad. Why did you keep me inside all my life?
Sweetheart, you have an evil aunt who kidnapped you when you were a baby. She wanted to get rid of you so that she'd be the next heir to the throne. Luckily, we found you, but she managed to escape. That's why we were always so paranoid. But we recently found out that she died, so the threat is gone. I'm sorry you were so miserable, Aurora, but I was only doing what I had to.
And my marriage? I don't want to get married right now. We just wanted you to meet the prince. We would never force you to marry someone. I'm so sorry that I've been so angry and difficult, but I wish you'd just explained all this to me. And I've seen some of the world now, and I know you can't trust everybody, but it's still a wonderful place, and I want to see more of it.
And you shall, my darling.
The guests were still at the palace, and they were informed I was feeling well now. A grand ball was arranged 2 days later, and when I entered the hall without my mask, people seemed to be stunned by my beauty. I was having a great time dancing when Mom called me aside and said that I had a visitor. I stepped out into the hall to find Andre? What are you doing here?
I just need you to hear me out, please. Yes, I took those pictures and I wanted to sell them to pay my mom's medical bills, but I just couldn't. I'm ashamed that I even planned to, and I'm sorry. I'm here to delete them in front of you. You will never see or hear of these pictures again.
Just as he was about to, I ran forward and stopped him. No, don't. I'd like to have them. They're some of my best memories. And thank you for everything you did for me. Your mom's bills will be taken care of.
No, that's not why I'm here.
I know that, Andre. I know. Now, would you care to have a dance with the princess? Most young men are dying to, but I can spare a few minutes for you.
Can I even say no?
Not really. It's a royal order. I was just minding my own business in the convenience store when suddenly a hooded guy jumped at the cashier and pulled out a gun.
Give me some cash. All of it. Now.
Everyone started to panic, except me. I'd actually been waiting for this moment. Hey, idiot! Everyone gasped as the robber turned to me. I then walked up to him while slowly removing my jacket. It's so hot in here, don't you think?
Back off, sweetheart. I have a gun.
Not anymore. He tried to dive for it, but I immediately locked him in a tight grip and pinned him to the ground. It's jail time, baby. And that's how you catch a criminal. Hi, my name is Artemis, and I've always wanted to become a detective, just like my dad. Before I continue, MSA will give $1,000 to one lucky person who subscribes in the next 7 days. Tell your friends, your sister, brother, and mom to subscribe now. As the robber was being arrested, someone approached me with a proud smile on his face. My favorite police detective, Lewis. I'd met him during a Future Detective summer program for high school students last year, and we'd kept in touch. You're really something else, kid.
Kid? He was just 5 years older than me, but he kept treating me as his little sister. And it was so annoying because I actually liked him. I learned from the best.
If you're free tonight, do you want to have dinner with me?
Would he finally confess his feelings for me? The anticipation was killing me. He took me to a romantic restaurant and my heart was racing.
I'll get to the point, Artemis. I know that you've been waiting for this moment too.
You bet I have.
We're having a big and difficult case right now, and we need your help.
Oh, I suddenly felt stupid. Tell me about it.
It's a gold smuggling case, and the suspect's name is Mr. Anderson. We need some hard evidence against him.
And how can I help exactly?
He has a son, and his name is Chase. He's a senior high school student, reckless, clumsy, and spoiled. He's looking for a female bodyguard, and she should be very attractive.
So, you want me to pose as his bodyguard while spying on Mr. Anderson, right?
Exactly. I need you to find where he's keeping all those gold bars.
Mission accepted, officer. Dad had trained me in martial arts since I was 2, and now I could finally put it to good use. Lewis prepared my fake documents for the application, and luckily, I was chosen. I was so excited about this mission, but little did I know that I was about to get involved in the biggest mess ever. I tried so hard to keep my cool when I finally met Mr. Anderson. His face literally screamed danger. I was secretly scanning my eyes around his office as we discussed the job. There were surveillance cameras everywhere. It was gonna be harder than I thought.
I love my son more than anything, so do your best to protect him.
I'll make sure you won't regret hiring me, sir. He gave me a very thick portfolio of Chase, and the first thing I noticed was his face. It was very attractive. Mr. Anderson told me that Chase was waiting for me in this room, and the moment I opened it, I was caught off guard when someone suddenly jumped on me. It was him, and he looked like a scared little puppy. Is everything okay?
Take that disgusting little creature away from me.
I looked around and noticed a cockroach crawling toward us. I immediately stepped on it and crushed it to death. Don't worry, it's gone. He finally opened his eyes, and I almost dropped my jaw when we both stared at each other. He was the most handsome man that I had ever seen, and I wasn't exaggerating. Just then, he jumped away from me and cleared his throat.
I just find it really dirty, that's all. Anyway, you must be the new bodyguard.
Artemis, at your service.
Dad surely knows my type.
Do you want to make out? Do you want to die?
Playing hard to get. I like that.
I was hired to be your bodyguard, not your girlfriend, sir.
You'll still end up being one, so why waste time?
He was about to touch me, but I gave him a powerful blow that sent him flying to the wall.
Are you crazy? You're being paid to protect me, not kill me.
Sorry, it's just a reflex.
Fix your stupid reflex or I'll tell Dad to fire you.
Loud and clear, sir. I'll officially start my duty tomorrow. Have a nice night. Later that night, while everyone was sleeping, I tiptoed around the mansion and installed some spy cameras to watch Mr. Anderson's every move. I had to catch him soon and get this job over and done with. The next day at Chase's school, boys immediately flocked around me like I was a celebrity. And Chase didn't look too happy about it. Just then, he started throwing some dollar bills at them.
$1,000 for each of you to back off and stop looking at my bodyguard, losers.
And with that, they all closed their eyes and ran away like rats in the dark. Excuse me, sir, but why did you do that? I can take care of myself.
I want you to focus on me. Those idiots will just distract you.
There's no need to do that. I'm not usually distracted by stupid things. But he just ignored me and continued walking. Suddenly, he slipped on a piece of tissue paper, and before he could hit his head on the ground, I caught him in my arms. Our faces were so close, and for a moment, I felt lost in his beautiful blue eyes. Just then, a pretty girl came running and screaming, "Hubby Boo! What is the meaning of this? Are you cheating on me?" Based on his file, it must be Vanessa, his girlfriend. On reflex, I dropped Chase to the ground.
This girl is my bodyguard. She was just protecting me.
Oh, what a relief. I'm your one and only, always and forever. Right, Hubby Boo? She then jumped on him and started kissing him like a vacuum cleaner. Vanessa was clinging onto Chase all day and kept sticking her tongue out at me. What was her problem? Later that day, Chase suddenly dragged me into the janitor's closet.
I actually don't like Vanessa. I just dated her because she's just so obsessed with me. I felt bad for her.
And why are you telling me this, sir?
Don't be jealous.
Huh? I'm sorry, but I really don't get you.
Forget it. I already broke up with her many times, and she's like an annoying leech. From now on, I want you to keep her away from me. Make sure she doesn't come near me.
Copy that, sir. Later that day, I snuck into the bathroom to check the surveillance video on my phone and saw Mr. Anderson enter the mansion. And then he went straight into his room. I needed to have access there too. On my way out, I bumped into someone, Vanessa. Listen, girlie, you may look tough and all, but I'm not scared of you. I need you to stay away from my future husband, my hubby boo. Sorry, I can't do that. I'm being paid to be by his side 24/7. And besides, you have nothing to worry about. I'm not attracted to him. She burst out laughing. Chase is the most beautiful guy in the entire universe. There's no way you're not attracted to him unless you're a lesbian. OMG, are you? Do you like me instead?
Maybe.
I can't blame you. I'm perfect, but I'm sorry. You're not my type.
That's too bad because I think I'm obsessed with you. I leaned in closer and pouted my lips for a kiss.
Ew! Get away from me! My little stunt was effective because anytime Vanessa came close to Chase, I made pouty lips at her and she ran off. But I wasn't exactly celebrating. It had only been a week, but I wanted to give up already. Chase was a total pain in the butt and such a big baby. He would complain over the smallest things. One time, he was making a huge fuss about a mosquito bite.
How could you not stop it from sucking my precious blood? I thought you had great reflexes. See? It's swollen.
You're not gonna die from it, sir. Relax. One time, he decided to skip school just to go shopping for a new yacht. As we were walking towards the port, we bumped into some guys who looked like gangsters, and he actually knew them.
It's a perfect day to break some skulls, don't you think, Chase? What do you want, Brody? Your girl. She looks like my next girlfriend.
He was about to touch me, but suddenly, Chase jumped in and shoved him to the ground.
Don't you dare touch her, dummy.
Brody went berserk.
You stupid dirtbag.
He was about to punch Chase, but I was able to block his fist just in time. I'd run home to mommy if I were you. I twisted his arm and he went screaming in pain.
Get her, boys.
I threw a couple of my karate moves and they all fell to the ground in no time. I turned to Chase and he looked stunned. He was still speechless, even in the car. When we got home, he just sat in front of me and stared at my face. Is there any problem, sir?
You're the prettiest and coolest girl that I've ever met. Do you know that?
He lifted his hand to touch my face and I just shivered at the contact. You know what happens when you touch me, Chase. So get your hands off me before it's too late. Suddenly, his happy face turned sad as he pulled away from me.
I'm sorry. I won't bother you anymore.
Well, that was weird. I needed to find that secret room with the gold bars as soon as possible before things got any weirder. But whenever I had the chance, I looked all around the mansion and found nothing. One day, Mr. Anderson had a business trip and he'd be away for a week. It was finally my chance to work on his room. After making sure everyone was asleep, I went to his room and while I was checking his drawers, I felt someone watching me from the door. Chase!
What are you doing here?
I was looking for you.
In the drawers? I don't think I could fit in there.
Oh God, I needed to distract him. And then I did the unthinkable. I walked up to him, grabbed his face, and kissed him on the lips. And worse, I kinda enjoyed it.
Whoa, what was that about?
I've been craving your lips.
I knew it. No one could resist me, not even you.
I guess you're right. Anyway, we have to sleep now. It's late.
How could I when you just kissed me?
I tried getting rid of him, but he was persistent. First, he insisted we watch videos together on his favorite channel, MSA, for 2 hours. And then, he even made me sing him a lullaby to help him sleep. When he was finally asleep, I just found myself staring at his face. He actually looked like a beautiful angel. Snap out of it, idiot! The next day at school, Chase did something that gave me the shock of my life. He announced to everyone that we were dating, and Vanessa went wild. This girl is a lesbian, and I'm the one she actually likes. She's only getting back at you because she's jealous. Chase ignored her and got on his knees instead. To my surprise, he started tying up my shoelaces.
Silly girl, what if you trip and hurt yourself?
I then pulled him to the side and confronted him. What in the world are you doing?
You like me, and I like you. So we're dating, right?
Are you crazy? If your dad finds out about this, we're dead.
Don't worry. He's too busy to even check up on me. From now on, I'll protect you and serve you instead, okay?
I kept on refusing, but he was unstoppable. He was just around me all the time, and it was driving me crazy. All he did was stare at me 90% of the time. Could you please stop that? It's freaking me out.
I could stare at you forever. You're just too pretty. I sometimes doubt if you're even real.
During classes, he kept reaching for my hand just to hold it. During lunch, he would feed me and just watch me eat. He was acting like the perfect boyfriend, and I had no choice but to play along to protect my cover. Ugh, what had I gotten myself into? Later that night, I called Lewis and reported everything, including my fake relationship with Chase.
I need you to stop entertaining any distractions and finish your mission ASAP. Understood?
He sounded mad, and it made me feel bad. I'm sorry, I'll do better. The only place I hadn't checked yet was Mr. Anderson's bathroom, and I had to do that first thing in the morning. But I woke up to see Chase smiling at me with breakfast in bed.
Good morning, my love. Eat up. I cooked it for you.
The eggs looked delicious, so I decided to have a little taste. And they actually were. I didn't know you could cook.
I wanted to be a chef and open my own restaurant someday, but Dad wanted me to be the next CEO of his company instead.
Nothing feels better than living your dream. So stop being a loser and go for it. It's your life, not your dad's anyway. I suddenly felt bad knowing that his dad was a criminal.
That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. I can't help but fall for you harder each day.
He sounded so real. I almost fell for it. You're pretty good with words, aren't you?
I'm serious about you.
To my surprise, he gave me a quick peck on the lips, and it made me blush like hell. One weekend, he insisted that I train him in boxing. When we got inside the ring, he was so hyped up. Are you sure about this?
Heck yeah.
But the moment I threw a single punch, he went flying like paper. I worriedly rushed up to him, but he immediately got up.
I wasn't ready, but this time, I'll show you no mercy.
I decided to make him win and let him knock me out this time.
You cheated. You let me win.
No, I didn't. He was pouting as he sulked in the corner. Then suddenly I felt bad. Fine, I cheated. I'm sorry.
I'll accept your apology if you'll have a date with me.
I agreed, and he took me to the park. I waited for him on the bench as he bought me ice cream. There were a couple of kids playing around, and to my surprise, he called them over and bought ice cream for all of them, and even gave the vendor a huge tip. He wasn't really that bad after all, and I just found myself smiling. Oh no, I couldn't fall for him. I had to get rid of these stupid thoughts and focus on my goal. The next day, I told Chase that I wasn't feeling well, so I couldn't go to school with him. As soon as the coast was clear, I slipped into his dad's room and went straight to the bathroom. I checked every corner and space until I saw a button underneath the sink. I pressed it, and to my surprise, the bathtub slid away, revealing a trap door beneath it. I tried all the combinations in the passcode lock until it finally opened. I went down the stairs and I couldn't believe my eyes. The room was full of gold bars. I immediately called Lewis for backup, and while I was taking some pictures, someone suddenly smacked my phone out of my hand. It was Mr. Anderson, back from his trip, and he was raging mad.
You little witch.
Just in time, Lewis and the police barged in and finally arrested him. As he was being escorted out, Lewis came up to me and hugged me.
Good work, future detective. I'm so proud of you. You can even get rid of that little punk and hang out with me again. I miss you.
Suddenly, someone spoke from behind us.
So, it was all about this, huh?
I turned around and my smile instantly disappeared upon seeing Chase standing by the door. The hurt look in his eyes broke my heart. Chase, let me explain.
No need. Congratulations on your successful mission.
I watched him walk away with tears in my eyes. I wanted to run after him, but I guess this was for the best. I didn't see him again, and he also never contacted me. I should be happy I was done with him, right? Wrong. It kept on bothering me. A lot. One day, Lewis took me out for dinner, and I was expecting him to give me another case. But he completely surprised me by saying,
I like you a lot, Artemis. Will you be my girlfriend?
I had been waiting for this moment. I should be happy. But why was I thinking about Chase? I'm so sorry, Lewis, but I think we're better off as friends.
You like someone else, don't you?
I just bowed my head down and smiled. It didn't matter now because I'd ruined his life. 2 years had passed and I was finally studying criminology at university. One day during lunch, I decided to try the new restaurant around the corner, and I was shocked to see who the chef was. Chase! It's so nice to see you here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I took your advice and here I am.
He looked even more handsome than before. I didn't know what to say.
It's really good to see you, Artemis.
You too. I wanted to hug him and tell him that I missed him, but I couldn't. He then excused himself and walked up to a familiar girl who had just entered the restaurant. It was Vanessa, and they were hugging sweetly. I felt so jealous. I just got up to leave. As I walked out of the restaurant, I felt someone running after me.
Are you jealous?
Huh? What are you talking about?
Vanessa realized that she actually likes girls, and we ended up being good friends.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that. Just then, he stepped closer and held my hands.
I've been in love with someone else for a long time now. I bet you know her.
You're supposed to be mad at me for putting your dad in jail.
I'm not. He's a criminal, so he deserves it. I'm upset because you pretended to love me.
When did I say that I was just pretending?
You weren't?
He looked so cute as he blushed, and with that, I grabbed him by his collar and kissed him. Sorry, it's just a reflex.
Let's make it a habit then.
Just finished 5 photo shoots in London, attended a fashion show in Paris, done an interview for Vogue Italia, and now my exhausted body was about to have some pampering in the fanciest hotel in Greece, all by myself. Suddenly, I heard a loud bang in my room. I went to go check what it was, and I was shocked to see one of my luggage bags moving. I slowly opened it, and a creepy stranger suddenly sprang out from it while sniffing my favorite dress. My bodyguards rushed as I screamed in horror. This is a serious invasion of my privacy. Take him away right now.
Iris, I'm begging you. Just one kiss and a selfie. I'm your #1 fan!
Oh, please. Can I ever get a freaking break? Hi, my name is Iris, and I'm a famous supermodel with a billionaire boyfriend. It might sound like every teenage girl's dream, but for me, it was my worst nightmare. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. The hotel incident was circulating on the news in no time, and as soon as I reached my parents, they immediately fired my bodyguards. I forced my manager to clear my schedule for a week so I could just breathe, but the universe literally said no. While I was doing yoga in my room, someone suddenly barged in. It was my new boyfriend, Rocco. He was the son of an A-list actor, and he seemed pretty cool. Not to mention, really, really hot. Rocco, what are you doing here? It's been 8 minutes since my last chat. Why aren't you replying? You came all the way here just for that?
No, I came here to do this. Will you marry me?
What the freaking crabs? Are you crazy? We'd been dating for like 5 days.
You made me believe you loved me.
I don't even know your eye color, Rocco. Suddenly, he started bawling like a baby on the floor.
Oh my God, my heart. It hurts so bad.
What the heck are you doing?
I love you, Iris. I won't leave until you say yes.
He really meant it, and I had to have him thrown out by security. After all the crazy incidents with the paparazzi and my fans, Rocco was the last straw, and I'd finally had enough. I was tired of being worshipped and followed because I was a famous model. One day, as I was watching my favorite channel, MSA, I came across a video of a model who got plastic surgery to change her identity. It would be amazing to just
disappear and return as a completely different person. Wait, that was actually a great idea. I tried on a black wig with bangs to cover my eyes, changed my eye color from blue to green, threw in some makeup and baggy clothes, and I couldn't even recognize myself. Mom screamed upon seeing me and almost reported me as a trespasser. I told him about my plan of giving up my career and identity for a while, and Dad told me I was crazy. No, Dad, I'm not. I just want to be a normal girl living a normal life with no bodyguards and obsessed fans around me 24/7. I want to live somewhere else that no one knows about. I've been homeschooled all my life, and now I want to go to an actual school and have friends. Please, let me have this. I'm begging you. They were speechless for a whole minute.
Do as you please, sweetheart. Take a break for as long as you want. You deserve it.
Dad?
Fine, but on one condition. I'll choose the apartment for you, and you have to take at least 2 maids with you.
Deal. And just like that, I was off to a new chapter in my life as the cool and mysterious Siri. As I was walking towards the school building on my first day, I suddenly stopped upon seeing a scary dog in the middle of the road. And when it started to chase me, suddenly a skateboard came flying into the air, scaring it away. Gosh, that was close. I turned to my savior, and he was cute. Hey there, thanks for saving my life.
What? I was just doing a backflip and my skateboard slipped.
You still saved my life. What's your name?
You're not my type, sweet cakes, so move on.
Wait, did he just reject me? Well, that was something new. I had never felt so lost when I finally got into the school building. Everyone was wearing Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel, Hermes, and Prada, and they were all fake. Was this an actual school or an amateur fashion club? And everyone was looking at me like I was wearing something disgusting. Was it because of my oversized hoodie? But I had to look as different as I possibly could from my original self. When I finally got into my class, no one even glanced at me. For the first time, I felt invisible, and I wasn't complaining. I headed to an empty seat, but before I could finally sit, a girl put gum on it. I don't sit with losers. Me? A loser? Huh? Just then, a familiar guy came in. It was the skater boy. Hey, do you remember me? We met earlier today.
Are you stalking me? Just give it up, sweet cakes.
I was already here, and my name isn't Sweet Cakes, it's Siri.
So, you're like the real-life Siri, iPhone's virtual assistant?
I just spelled my name backward for this identity, and that hadn't even crossed my mind.
Hey guys, we got the real-life Siri over here.
Then they all started making fun of my fake name, and it was so annoying. Hey Siri, can I eat my shoes without dying? Hey Siri, would a worm eat a dead worm? I put my headphones on, but Skater Boy took them off.
Why aren't you answering our questions? Are you glitching or something?
Haven't you heard of the latest Apple update? Siri won't answer stupid questions from now on.
I didn't know Siri was actually feisty.
Just then, a familiar girl entered, and her eyes went straight to me. OMG, what a terrible day to have eyes. That outfit is horrible. Someone take this new girl out of this room right now.
Stop acting like you're the fashion queen, Peyton. Remember how you got rejected for a commercial and never made it as a model? And your tantrum video went viral?
Those people were just blind. I couldn't believe they chose that trash Iris over me. She stole my place.
Iris is not trash. Iris is a goddess.
Wait, Iris? Sorry to butt in, but are you guys talking about the supermodel? Yes, the worst supermodel of all time. Oh, now I remembered this girl. She'd auditioned with me for the commercial that launched my career, and she'd thrown a huge tantrum when she wasn't selected. And Skater Boy actually had a crush on me. How interesting. Soon, I learned that his name was Marcus. He was living in the same neighborhood as mine, and he was famous for his pranks. One time, he brought a freaking cow to school and left it at the top of the stairs. No one knew how he managed to do it. Another time, he stole the teacher's necklace and replaced it with a fake snake, and she literally passed out. He was insane. One day in the library, I was trying to get a book from a higher shelf, but I couldn't reach it, and he suddenly appeared behind me.
You need help?
Yes, please. I need that book over there. To my surprise, He transferred it to the very top shelf instead and walked off. Ugh, he was really something else. It was lunchtime and I was starving. As a model, I was always on a very strict diet, but now I could eat whatever I wanted. No one wanted to sit with me, so I chose a table at the corner. And just then, Marcus came over with his friends.
This is our table. Go away.
Sorry, I didn't see your name on it. Can't we share it?
We can, but on one condition. You have to clean my skateboard later. I ran over a huge pile of poop.
No thanks. I'd rather eat on the floor. And with that, I did what I said, and everyone looked so confused. Marcus started calling me a weirdo since then. Over the next few days, I noticed that Peyton kept spreading fake information about me, the model Iris. She obviously hated me and wanted everyone to join the club. I heard that her breath smells like cat's poop and her head is full of dandruff, and all her boyfriends ditched her because she's too clingy. Oh my god, ew, why is she even a model? You're way better than her, girl. I know, right? So unfair. I don't deserve this. I was about to say something, but someone did it for me first.
Stop farting through your mouth, Peyton. Those are all lies.
Truth hurts, darling. I heard she quit modeling. Maybe she finally realized she isn't anything special. Yet somehow she's a famous supermodel with tons of fans, and you've got this lame haters club in school. You seem obsessed with her. Marcus burst out laughing and shouted,
"You tell her, weirdo."
While Peyton looked furious. I thought she'd rip my hair out, but instead she just stormed off angrily. On my way to class the next day, a girl bumped into me and spilled her coffee all over my shirt right before a presentation. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. She offered to lend me her extra shirt in her locker, and I thought that was really nice of her. But in the middle of the presentation, I started scratching myself, and I couldn't stop. Soon, everyone was laughing like wild hyenas, including Marcus. When I saw my reflection, I could barely recognize myself. My skin was red and bloated. I looked like a pufferfish. Just then, I saw Peyton and that girl high-fiving. I knew they'd planned this. Oh, I was so gonna make her pay. I was then sent to the clinic, and the nurse told me to continue my treatment at home. Later that night, I was about to sleep when someone crashed through my window. I grabbed a bat to attack the intruder, and then I realized it was Marcus.
Relax, weirdo. It's just me.
Oh no, I didn't have my wig and contact lens on. I grabbed my shades and wrapped a pillowcase around my hair before facing him.
Why are you wearing that at midnight? You look like a stupid sushi roll.
I don't have to explain myself to you. Anyway, get out! You're trespassing!
Calm down, okay? I just wanted to give you this. An apology gift for laughing at you earlier.
I was about to smile when I realized that it was a pufferfish. Seriously? Ow. He then told me that he overheard Peyton and her friend talking about how they'd put some chemical on that shirt.
That was really uncool. Let's go to her house tonight and release tons of bugs in her room.
No, I don't like that kind of revenge. It's lame.
Tell me what's not lame then.
Oh, you'll know it tomorrow. The next day, I surprised everyone by wearing the most expensive Gucci hoodie and boots as I walked in the hallway like a fashion model. You think you're a star now just because you're wearing fake Gucci? Wake up, dummy, you're dreaming. Are you talking about yourself? I slapped her with the receipt of the items, and she suddenly forgot how to speak.
Dude, that was so cool. You literally ate that witch alive.
That's how you do it.
Teach me your ways, senpai.
Only if you'll stop making fun of me.
That's kinda hard, but I'll try.
Marcus and I became closer over the next few months. I always had fun with him, even when he talked about Iris 90% of the time. One time he took me to his place, and I was shocked to see how many posters he had of me.
Just look at her. How can someone be that perfect? It's just unfair to every other girl. No one could ever measure up to her.
Wow, he was beginning to sound as loco as Rocco. But at least there was no danger he'd ever be obsessed with Siri. One weekend we went to the park, and he taught me some skateboarding tricks. As a model, I was always careful never to do anything that might get me injured, but this was really fun. And the very next second, the skateboard slipped from under my feet and I went flying backwards. But before my head could hit the ground, Marcus caught me.
Whoa, easy there. You okay?
His face was so close to mine as he looked down in concern. and I noticed for the first time how lovely his eyes were. "Hello, you're kinda heavy, girl. Can you please try to stand up now?" I immediately jumped to my feet. Heavy? I was model thin. Jerk. We skateboarded a bit more and then fell onto the grass to rest. Can I ask you a question, Marcus? You already asked, dummy. Why do you love Iris? I mean, how do you love a person when you haven't even met her? Is it just because she's pretty? 3 years back, my sister got sick, and in the hospital, this beautiful girl paid a visit to the kids there and gave them some gifts. I'll never forget how sweet and kind she was to my sister. I didn't know then that she was actually a supermodel, and since then, I started admiring her from afar. I told you, she's perfect. Oh, so he actually liked me for that and not just because I was pretty. And I felt like I wanted to tell him the truth about me, but I couldn't. Not yet. A few days later, some girls were drooling over a guy in the hallway, and I almost choked on my saliva when I realized who it was. Rocco. Oh my God, what was he doing here? I need to find Iris. My heart told me she was here. I could literally smell her. As I ran to the restroom, my wig got caught on something and it almost fell off. I quickly ran to the restroom and fixed it before anyone noticed. Phew. And then I called my dad to tell him about this. He suggested transferring to another school, but something was stopping me. I'd just settled in, and well, there was Marcus. But thank God Rocco was gone when I got out. A few days later, our drama club teacher decided to pair me with Marcus, and there was a scene where we had to kiss and we needed to practice it in front of everyone. Yuck. No way I'm kissing her. He then pretended to throw up. What's wrong with kissing me? It's not a big deal. I just don't want my lips to be tainted by yours. Excuse me? My lips are not poisonous or gross. The audience started chanting for us to kiss already, but he kept making lame excuses to delay it. Oh, the irony. He was obsessed with Iris, but allergic to Siri. And it was so confusing. Our teacher lost her patience, so we had no choice but to do it. I closed my eyes, and as his lips touched mine, I felt a storm of butterflies in my stomach. He immediately pulled away and yelled, "This is officially the worst day of my life." He was pissing me off. I just stormed off after drama class and ignored him all day. Later, when I was walking back home, he caught up with me. "Hey, are you in a bad mood or something? You left without waiting for me." "So? I can do whatever I want. You can't find your way home without me?" "What's the matter with you?" "Nothing. Can't a girl walk in peace?" "Oh, come on. Is it about the kiss? I'm sorry if I overreacted." "It's not about that. But kissing me is not yuck, okay? There are tons of boys who'd love to kiss me." "Oh yeah? Who'd want to kiss a weirdo like you?" "Oh, you have no idea, dude." "So what? Did you actually want me to enjoy it?" "No, I didn't want you to, but yeah, you should have. I've been told I'm a really good kisser." "Okay, let me try it again then." I was caught off guard when he suddenly pulled me into a very hot kiss. I was catching my breath as he finally let go of me. That was, wow. I didn't want to kiss you before because I wanted our first kiss to be special. He then turned around and left, leaving me completely stunned. I wasn't able to sleep that night because I couldn't stop thinking about our mind-blowing kiss. He liked me. The next day, he wasn't talking to me all day, and it was pure torture. Should I tell him the truth and admit my feelings for him now? I had to, tonight. Unfortunately, Peyton got bored and threw a huge party. I learned that Marcus was going, so I did too, only to regret it instantly. Because just 10 minutes into the party, Peyton suddenly gathered everyone's attention. I prepared a little show for you guys. Are you ready to see it? She started showing pictures of me as Iris. Oh, so she was doing her smear campaigns during parties now? Did you guys know that this famous model, suddenly she splashed water on my face and took my wig off, has been here with us the whole time? Yes, I discovered your little secret in the bathroom one day. So you got bored of your perfect life and decided to fool us all? Oh my God! I met Marcus's eyes across the room and he looked super shocked. No, this couldn't be happening. Just then, the crowd went wild. And before they could jump on me, I ran out of her mansion and called Dad to take me home. The news instantly reached mainstream media, so I was forced to quit school and filed a restraining order against Rocco before he could come looking for me again. I'd been trying to contact Marcus to explain everything, but he never returned my calls and it was killing me. One day, my parents went on a business trip and I was left alone in our mansion. Just then, I heard someone yelling downstairs. I walked to the balcony and saw Marcus being held down by my bodyguards.
Siri, Iris, whatever your name is, I just want to talk to you, please.
Let go of him, boys. My heart was pounding hard as I met with him downstairs. Marcus, what are you doing here? He just threw a magazine in front of me and said,
I want an autograph.
Huh? Did he come here as a fan or what? I picked it up, and while I was signing it, he suddenly grabbed my hand and pulled me into a hug.
I missed you so much.
I missed you too, and I'm sorry for lying to you. I was supposed to tell you that day.
There's no need to explain. You had your reasons. I understand.
Then what took you so long to see me?
I needed more time to think. I was so confused. I have always idolized Iris and always thought that she was the love of my life. But then you came as Siri and everything changed. I couldn't stop thinking about you since the first time I saw you.
Really? For me, it was much later.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Be the supermodel or the annoying weirdo, I don't care. As long as it's you. I love you.
I love you too.
Now, what should I call you?
I haven't thought about that yet. As of now, just call me yours.
Hi, my name is Sasha, and I'm a popular singer with the wealthiest parents in town. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. Selling out concerts weekly and dealing with fans around the world might sound fun, but you know what's even cooler? Partying. All night long. In the middle of my show, I escaped with my boyfriend Theo to go to the biggest island party ever. But when he pulled over to a helicopter pad, my excitement turned to panic. I thought we were going to use a yacht. You know I have a phobia of heights, right?
It's a 5-minute ride. You're just being melodramatic. Get over it.
Get over it? Enjoy the party without this drama queen then. Babe, come on. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. I just ignored him and stormed off. As I walked back to the city, I noticed a person in a hooded jacket following me. I grabbed my stiletto and yelled at him. Why are you hiding, dude? Are you scared? Don't worry. I don't bite. To my surprise, he just threw a magazine at me and ran away. What the chocolate fudge? I picked it up and realized that it was my magazine, with a death threat drawn all over my face. Unfortunately for him, I was fearless. The threats kept coming over the weekend. My parents had always wanted to hire a bodyguard for me, but I didn't want some boring old guy to keep following me around. But this time, they wouldn't take no for an answer. When I finally saw my bodyguard, I almost passed out. He was the most exquisite specimen of a man I had ever seen, and he looked just a few years older than me. Hey, handsome. Are you sure you're a bodyguard and not my next boyfriend? To my surprise, he didn't smile a bit. Rude. You look too young for this job. How can I trust you? Suddenly, a ball from our neighbor came hurling right at me, and he instantly caught it with one hand.
Trust me, I'm really good at my job. You can check my records. Your father has everything you need.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Let's go. He opened the car door for me, and as I slipped in, I accidentally brushed my shoulder on his chest, and oh my, it felt harder than a rock. When we arrived at school, Theo didn't look so happy to see me with my young bodyguard. He pulled me aside and said,
Look, babe, I know I insulted you the other night, but getting back at me by flirting with another guy, how could you?
He's my freaking bodyguard. I'm still mad at you for what you did, and now you're accusing me of cheating? Suddenly, Damon stepped in.
Is there a problem here?
Stay out of this, man. Theo tried to push him aside, but Damon pounced on him and pinned him to the ground.
What the heck are you doing? Let go of me, idiot.
Hey, stop it! Damon finally released my boyfriend after a minute. As expected, Theo went psycho. I immediately blocked him before he got his butt kicked by Damon. That's enough, Theo. He's just doing his job.
Why do you need a bodyguard when you have me? I'm your boyfriend. I'll protect you.
A small spider suddenly landed on his shoulder, and he ran screaming. Protect my butt. As I walked down the hall with Damon, girls were literally drooling all over him. He looks more like a model than a bodyguard. He can be the father of my children.
He's way more attractive than Theo. I really want to feel his biceps. These girls sounded so desperate, but they were right. When I reached our classroom, my best friend Tessa came up to me with my favorite coffee. Hey girl, so I brought you your… Damon suddenly snatched it and started sniffing it. He then took a sip and waited for a few seconds before saying, "Clear." As he gave it back to me, Tessa was glaring at him. Excuse me, did you really think that I'll poison my best friend?
Just doing my job.
Tessa then dragged me to a corner. So you're giving up your privacy just like that? I can see that he's very attractive, but something about him screams bad news. He even sounds like a demon. You have to get rid of him ASAP. Oh, come on, girl. It's just his first day. Let's see. But Tessa was right. I didn't have a second of privacy. Damon followed me around every freaking second. He stood behind me in all of my classes and even in restrooms. It was so awkward. At home, he'd just stand outside my door, and I never saw him sleep. And worse, he had this permanent ice-cold expression on his face that gave me chills. I had a recording event one night, and when I reached the studio, a guy came rushing toward me. He was about to draw out something from his back pocket when suddenly, Damon grabbed his arm and twisted it.
Drop your weapon. What? I just wanted an autograph from her, man.
Damon let go of the poor guy, and it was so embarrassing. What's the matter with you? I'm a popular singer, so you have to get used to my fans.
Just doing my job.
Calm down, Sasha. Calm down. The next day at school, Theo kept following me around to apologize, but I still ignored him until he said,
"My producer cousin is throwing an exclusive yacht party with some A-listers this weekend. She's a fan of yours, and she'd be ecstatic if you came."
He had my attention now. Parties were my weakness.
Not so fast, sweetheart. Hang out with me tomorrow?
Okay, fine. Theo requested not to bring Damon to our date tomorrow, so I talked to him in private.
My job is not to leave your side for a minute. So sorry, can't do.
He was so firm about this, so I finally gave up and let him come with us. We went to a private movie theater and watched a super sad movie together. Minutes into the movie, Theo and I were already crying our hearts out, while Damon had no reaction at all. What was he, a robot? After the movie, we went to a fancy restaurant and I was having a good time with the lobster until Theo started forcing himself on me.
Just one kiss, babe. Come on.
Not now, Theo. We're in a public place and people are staring. But he was persistent. Just then, Damon grabbed him and threw him away like a piece of paper. Theo was furious. He grabbed a chair, but before he could hit Damon with it, I pushed him away. Stop it! Right now!
Your stupid bodyguard started it. Why don't you tell him to get a life and go home to his mommy?
No, Theo. You go home. I immediately called him a cab, and when he was finally gone, I turned to Damon angrily. I know he was being a jerk, but I can handle my personal life. You don't have to interfere every freaking second.
He was disrespecting your personal space.
Your job is to keep me safe, not to meddle in my personal matters. Know your boundaries.
Apologies. It will never happen again.
I actually didn't mind that Theo got the thrashing he deserved, but Damon always being around was just getting on my nerves. A few days later at a concert, I was performing my newest single and everyone was singing along with me. It felt amazing. Some of them even started climbing up on the stage to join me. Suddenly, Damon jumped in and pushed them off stage. What in the world? He then lifted me and carried me to the backstage in the middle of my freaking performance. I finally had enough. My parents are paying you to protect me, not to annoy me and screw up my concerts.
Your life is in danger, ma'am. You have to treat everyone as an enemy.
That is ridiculous. Whoever sends those stupid threats is probably just some harmless loser.
Better to be safe than sorry.
I complained to my parents about his behavior, but they praised him for it. But he's ruining my career and even my personal life.
He's just doing his job, honey, and that's to make sure you're safe all the time.
They were hopeless cases, so I resorted to Tessa instead, and she came up with a plan. Test his patience, annoy him, do everything you can to make him quit. You're good at that, you gorgeous brat. I love the sound of it, girl. You're the best. Of course I am. I stayed up at 4 a.m. that night to disturb Damon in his sleep, but to my surprise, he was already up. I need you to get my favorite Starbucks coffee.
That's not part of my job description.
Do it, or I'll make your job harder.
Fine. What's your order?
1 iced venti caramel macchiato with 6 shots of mocha, 1/4 non-fat milk, 1/8 almond milk with medium whipped cream, and a caramel drizzle with a rose design on top, in a biodegradable takeaway cup with a pink straw.
Got it.
What? I was just messing with him, but to my surprise, he immediately left, and holy mother of toads, he came back with my exact order. How?
Anything else?
That's all for now. Later that day, I went to the mall and went on a crazy shopping spree, making him carry all my bags to tire him out. But he was like a machine. I entered a clothing store, and as I tried on all the prettiest clothes, I kept asking for his opinion, but he wasn't paying attention. Hello? Aren't you gonna give me a compliment or something?
Giving an opinion about your outfits is not part of my job, ma'am.
Any normal guy would have been drooling at me by now. He must be a cyborg. To get back at him, I faked a sprain and forced him to carry me on his back, but he was still as strong as a freaking tank. Finally giving up, I went to the bathroom with everything I'd bought and escaped through the window. After making sure that I'd lost him, I went to an orphanage and gave out all the clothes to the kids. While I was having fun with them, Tessa sent me some pictures of Theo kissing a blonde girl in a restaurant. At this point, I didn't even care. Theo was trash. I immediately sent him a message and told him that we were done. He was the worst boyfriend anyway. He started calling me immediately, so I just blocked him. Problem solved. Later, I went to a local club to celebrate my breakup, and while I was dancing my heart out, I was shocked to see someone watching me from the bar. Damon! Of course he tracked me down. A cute guy tried to dance with me, and suddenly, Damon came and pushed him away. Hey, listen, buddy, I'm sick of this. If you're gonna keep scaring all the other guys away, you dance with me.
I don't mix business with pleasure.
Dance with me, or go sit quietly in a corner while I find someone. Before I could poke the guy next to me, Damon suddenly grabbed my hand to dance. Just then, the song shifted to a slow, romantic one, and he pulled me in closer by the waist. It's not so bad, is it?
If you say so, ma'am.
You can say my name, you know.
If you say so, Sasha.
He had the faintest smile on his face, and my heart skipped a beat. We slow danced as he looked deep into my eyes, and suddenly, his face was so close to mine. Just then, he pulled away from me, like he'd had an electric shock.
We need to go home.
But it's still early.
Safety reasons.
Ugh, he was so annoying. When we got home, I saw a box sitting on my bed, and when I opened it, lots of rats jumped out and started running all over the room. Damon saw a little note inside, and for the first time ever, it scared me. For real.
Someone broke into your room. This person means business. We have to be more careful, ma'am.
He suggested that I shouldn't go to school for the next few days for safety, and I agreed. One night, my manager called and reminded me of my concert in Paris the next day. It was my biggest one yet, and I had to go.
I don't think you should be making public appearances till we find out who's trying to hurt you.
No, I'm not gonna let some creep scare me and make me decide what I should do. This was planned in advance, and all the tickets are sold, and I'm not canceling. Damon was forced to allow me, but on one condition. We had to share a hotel room so he could keep a constant eye on me. When we were finally in Paris, I rehearsed my songs all night while he was constantly looking out the window. The next morning, I found him still asleep on the couch, without a shirt on. Oh my God, those abs. It was finally my chance to know how hard they were. I was about to touch them when something on the floor caught my attention. A picture of a beautiful girl in his wallet. She looked around my age. I quickly put the wallet away, feeling something weird. Was I jealous? No, of course not. Why would I care if he had a girlfriend? Hours before the concert, while my makeup team was working on me, Damon suddenly snatched me away.
Can't you just postpone this? It's too dangerous.
I told you, I can't.
Please, Sasha, just listen to me. I care about you, you know?
Oh, do you? I thought I was your only client. Just do your job, which is to keep me alive, and let me do my job, which is to entertain people. And actually, I prefer it when you call me ma'am. You got me?
Loud and clear, ma'am.
During my concert, I tried not to think of Damon and the death threats, and it was going so well. In the middle of my performance, I saw Damon in the crowd, and he was smiling at me. He looked so lovely. No, snap out of it, Sasha. He has a girlfriend. While I was singing my fourth song, I suddenly spotted a hooded figure in the crowd, and he was aiming something at me. No, no, no. I froze in panic, but just then a strong pair of arms grabbed me and carried me off the stage.
and I looked up to see Damon's tense face. "Stay here. Don't move." He returned a few minutes later, saying he'd lost the hooded figure. I was still shaking in fear, and he gently picked me up and we returned to the hotel. He tucked me into bed and sat on a chair close by. I closed my eyes and tried to sleep, feeling safe as he watched over me. Sometime later, I felt him fixing my blanket and gently caressing my cheek as he left. Why did he do that? And why was it giving me a heart attack? When I woke up the next morning, I peeked into the kitchen and smiled when I saw him dancing while cooking our breakfast. It was the first time I saw him looking so human. I felt shy when he turned to me. I didn't have any makeup on. "That's the first time I've seen you without makeup, and you look even more beautiful than usual."
Is complimenting me part of your job now?
"Maybe."
I knew it. No one can ever resist my charms, not even my emotionless bodyguard. I wonder what your girlfriend would say about this.
I assume you're talking about the picture of the girl in my wallet.
Gosh, was he actually awake that time? He revealed that it was his sister, and they grew up in the orphanage together. He lost her because he'd failed to protect her, and that's why he became a bodyguard.
She'd always wanted to go to Paris and go up the Eiffel Tower.
I suddenly felt brave. Let's go there then, for her.
After what happened yesterday, there's no way I'm allowing you to go anywhere. Also, I know from your file that you're afraid of heights.
I'm not scared when I have you around. I'll be fine, I promise. He finally agreed, but later as we were climbing onto the escalator at the Eiffel Tower, he must have noticed I was nervous.
Are you sure about this? We can just go back, you know.
No, I can do this. When we reached the top, I squealed and covered my eyes.
You made it to the top. You have to see this view now.
I don't know if I can. How about you take a look, and we'll go down?
But I don't want you to miss this, Sasha. I've got you. Do you trust me?
Yes I do.
Okay then, open your eyes when I say so.
I kept my eyes shut as he led me forward, and then suddenly, I felt his arms wrap around my waist.
Now.
I opened my eyes, and I gasped. I was so close to the edge, and the whole glittering city was in front of me, and I'd never felt safer in my life. Damon?
Yes?
Have you ever fallen for a client? My smile instantly faded at his answer.
No, it would never happen. I can't do my job well if I'm emotionally involved.
So, it was just me who was feeling this. He was just being nice to his client. After a week, I had to go back to school for the final exams. I looked for Tessa so we could study together in the library, but I couldn't find her. I sat down to study alone and let Damon stand by the door so I could focus. Minutes later, he barged in and yelled,
"Sasha, look out!"
To my horror, the huge bookshelf behind me began to fall on me, but Damon leapt forward and pushed me out of harm's way, and it fell on him. He was in the hospital for a week, and despite my parents' protests that I needed to stay safe at home, I insisted on visiting him every day. One day, while I was in the waiting area, Tessa came to see me with my favorite coffee, but before I could take a sip, a hand suddenly slapped the cup away. We turned to see Damon and a cop beside him, who suddenly put handcuffs on Tessa.
What are you doing, you moron?
Damon, what's happening? Suddenly, he revealed something that blew my mind. Tessa was the one who'd pushed the bookshelf on me.
I'd been keeping an eye on her and studying her. That day, I saw her enter the library from the back door, and I knew she was up to no good. I'm sure your coffee is poisoned too.
My best friend was trying to hurt me? Tessa, why? And suddenly, Tessa turned into a monster.
Because I hate you. You have everything I've ever wanted. Beauty, talent, fame, wealth. Theo, life is so unfair. I would have gotten rid of you already if your stupid bodyguard wasn't such a pain.
She screamed as the cop dragged her away, and I was left speechless. Damon then pulled me into a hug.
Are you okay?
I'll be fine. How are you?
I'm okay, but I can't be your bodyguard anymore, Sasha. I just can't fight my feelings for you anymore, and it's wrong.
If I fire you right now, will you be my boyfriend instead? Without a word, he grabbed my face and finally kissed me on the lips. I took that as a yes.